Hi besties, hi bunnies. Coffee's cold, truce brewing, let's hit the road. Just Machado wheel in hand, time to unfold. Early light breaks, coffee chilling in my grip. Hi besties, hi bunnies, join the trip. Cruising mass highway, spilling secrets for hours. 1 to 3 deep, no holds barred, owning our power. Squad's got my back, riding waves through the storm. Besties and bunnies, keeping it warm. Got that wild spark, singing random and free. Keeping the vibe alive, just you and me. Trolls creeping in, haters twisting the feet. Weak shots flying, but they can't plant the seed. Jabbing in my style, my fire, my rise. Obsessed in the shadows, watching with jealous eyes. Drama stirrers calling grift, but facts don't lie. While y'all fume, my lights touching the sky. Reddit ghosts lurking, basement critique so low. Keep throwing shade, watch this bunny glow. Meow, 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 meow. Hey. Meow, 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 feel it now. Bunny. Just Machado show, chasing down the real. Besties and bunnies got that unbreakable seal. Meow, 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 trolls fade away. Truth in the air, lighting up the day. After dark or dawn's first gleam, we claim the throne. Just as rolling, meow, if you're in the zone. Meow. Love to my besties trolls. See a truth awaits. Just Machado show. Buckle up. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Feel it now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Bunnies.
Good morning. Welcome to 24 on 24. I'm your host, Jessica Machado. Thanks for having me. Thanks for welcoming me into your home. Thanks for being here. Good morning, Ben Rosa. Good morning, Pam Cakes. Good morning, Tara. Good morning. Just good morning, everybody, essentially. Hi, how's it going? Great. Let's get to work. Let's get to work, shall we? Thank you for being here. There's some people that are taking some statements extremely literally. Listen, maybe I said it as such, but it's not really the way that I meant it. I don't direct people to go and do the things and go to the chats and listen. They're just there. A lot of the people who follow my channel are internet consumers, podcast live stream consumers. So they are watching and they report back to me, but there is no assignment, essentially. I think I maybe said it wrong. It happens, but just let it be known there isn't a person on earth that's in my fucking messages or whatever that is just like, hi, you need to go here and watch this and take notes and report back. That doesn't happen. I just happen to have a bunch of nosy bitches that follow me and enjoy me. So anyway, while I was sitting here waiting for the theme song to stop, I caught a glimpse of a comment and I was like, what kind of a person do you think I am? I know the answer to that. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. This is the #1 show during the 7:30 time slot in all of the land. It's coveted. It's coveted. There's whispers that there's going to be a show starting at the same time to compete with me. I'm already competing against myself in all of the internet wars I've started. So if you want to throw a show on during this time, I want to let you know I will probably very much enjoy the competition. It's going to be like old school morning radios, with ratings and stuff. I'm in. Forgot to tell you though, I'm super talented. So whoever does it, you better be talented. Last night, we had ourselves a night. Let's start off by saying this. So we were down, but we got out. We pulled ourselves out of the hole. Dug ourselves out of the hole, so to speak, is what I said, I think. And we were out and we did the show, but we still weren't there yet. And so what makes me feel better was listening to some music. And I was sitting on the couch and I was waiting for Jack and Georgia to come home. Georgia was with her boyfriend. Jack was at work. So I'm sitting on the couch. Jeff was in the sunroom playing his guitar. There's no sports or anything on TV last night. So I was just sitting on my phone listening to like music. And I was actually rearranging some like playlists I have on YouTube. And a song popped up. I Go to Extremes by Billy Joel. Listen, I'm a big Billy Joel fan. I have a whole playlist that's just Billy Joel, and this song pops up, and I'm like, this is like exactly me. I think I've always recognized the song was me, but like it wasn't until like yesterday where I was just like, well, this is pretty applicable in all of the circumstances. And so I like was watching the video. I was like, I want to put this up against some of like my clips from my show. I can't play it on my channel because I'll get demonetized, but I can play it on X and I can play it on Facebook if I say like fair rights or whatever. So I was like, fuck it, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to make the montage. I love a good montage. And it turns out it was actually so fun. And I was just sitting there watching some old clips and I put together this video, and it was really just like a hype video for myself, because I just needed to be of like what I've done. When people say like I've got no talent, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Like there's just like a kind of like a catalog of like stuff showcasing that I am talented, and I needed to remind myself, and I shared it for all of you, right? So just get it right that it wasn't like I'm gonna fucking put up a video and I'm gonna like shove it down your throats. It was really for me. Everything is about me. This morning show is about me. It heals me. The montage was for me. Somebody was like commenting and was just like, this is just the worst. I can't believe at this time you would post this video. What the fuck not? How's everybody else fixing themselves out here? Like, what do you do to like make yourself feel better about life? I look at my greatest hits and I fucking put some music behind it. Suck my dick. So I'm sitting there, I'm at the end of the montage, I'm adding the last thing, and I hear a loud noise that my ears identified immediately as something I have never heard before. Could have been identified as a door slamming, could have been identified as the recycling bin being dragged out to the street, which Jeffrey did earlier. The dogs did not react. So I was like, I put my phone down, I stood up, and I was like, that was not a normal sound. Like it's nothing I had heard before. In my 50 years, I recognized a sound that I had never heard before. I walked into the dining room and I looked out the window. It's very dark outside. We have a problem on our street with street lights. They replaced them and they are just not good. You can't see anything. It's like pitch black outside. And I see George's boyfriend's truck skewed in the street. I immediately run outside and I'm thinking instantly, he hit a car. So I didn't even think twice. I just opened the door and the dogs ran out and followed me. And within about 5 seconds, I recognized he had backed into my fence and there was a huge portion of my fence that was open. And so I fucking freaked out because of Quincy and Reagan. So it was a little chaotic. I screamed over to Georgia and I said, you got to block the hole. So her and her boyfriend kind of stood there. I tried to get Quincy. Reagan was on the porch. He went right inside because he's old and he's scared. But Quincy, not so much. I ran back into the house and I screamed for Jeff. He was in the office. I mean, listen, there's just no way to say this. In times of trouble, Jeff is just angry, right? So I screamed downstairs to him, probably in a psychotically panicked voice. I was like, Jeff, and I didn't know if Angela was her. I didn't know if Georgia was her. I didn't know anything. I just saw the car was crashed and my fence was knocked down. So I yelled down to Jeff and he snaps at me. He's like, what? And I was like, I need you upstairs and it's an emergency. He's like, oh, okay. And I was like, Jeff, the dog got loose. I had no other way to say it because I just didn't know what else to do to provoke him to get upstairs because he wasn't going to listen. So that got him running up the stairs. And as he was coming up the stairs, I was like, he's not loose. The fence got knocked down. And we get outside. Jeff instantly commands Quincy to get into the house. Once the dogs were secured, we could get a better assessment of what happened. And Angelo was trying to back up, and he just could not see. It was pitch black. And he hit the fence, which my fence goes far out on the street, so the fence didn't meet inspection. I guess, I don't know what happened. When the owners built it, I guess something happened where they allowed it to get built there, and then it ended up being too close to the corner. It's got to kind of be a little bit further back. But anyway, the town approved it. So it was kind of an issue when we bought the house, but it wasn't an issue. It is very close to the street. It's like a foot and a half. Like the only thing that's in front of it is the fire hydrant. And at first I thought he hit the fire hydrant, but what he did was he backed up. And when he backed up, a little corner of his bumper on his truck hooked behind one panel, like one slat of the fence. And when he went to pull forward, it pulled the whole panel off and it snapped the end corner post in half. So that end corner post has two panels, obviously, that attach to it because it's a corner. So hence both of those panels kind of coming dislodged and a huge hole. What do you think it was like at 11 o'clock last night with Jeff being angry and now we have a hole in our fence? How do you think that went? I had to send Jeff in the house almost immediately. I had to say, just go in the house and go get some tools. I need a hammer. I need the wood nails. And Angelo was beside himself. He was shaken up. He was upset. And I basically had to just completely stop that from happening. He's like, how much money do you need? And I was like, stop it. Once I got Jeff out of the area and sent him on his way, I was able to calm Angelo, and he just never really recovered. He was feeling such guilt and he felt terrible. And I think the bigger issue was really his frame of mind because he was so distraught. And, I said, it's nothing that we can't handle right now. And it's nothing that we won't be able to handle tomorrow or whatever. So it's okay. I mean, I had to pull him aside and I was like, have you been drinking? It just didn't make sense, and he's like, I don't drink. I don't no. And I was like, okay, all right, let's, and to be quite frank with you, I knew that, but I had to assess it. I don't know. They went to Target and they went to the boat ramp to fish. I don't know, I had to check, but I was fairly confident after speaking with him, standing 2 inches from his face, hugging him and trying to see if there were any physical changes I need to know, like that he was fine. He was just shaken up. And really the bigger issue is that he couldn't see. He's got an old truck. It doesn't have a camera and there's no lights out there. And he has never really backed up before and not in that area in a tight space. And he's a new driver, so it sucks. So we had to call his mom. By the way, what I think made it worse is he was sitting out in the car with Georgia and he was already late. So he was a half hour late to going home. His mom has a tracker on him so she can see where he is. So she knew he was here, but she was pissed that it was taking him so long. He was late. And so he was supposed to be home at 10:30. This happened at like 10:45. So I called the mom and I just basically told her what happened and put her mind at ease. I said I wasn't going to let him leave until he was kind of calm. And eventually he did calm himself down and he drove home, but he was going home to get in trouble, times 2. So it was pretty shitty all around. But then Jack pulled in And I was like, oh, leave your car over here. I need the lights on. And he's like, what the fuck happened? So I told him. And so Jeff came up with, hi, can I do a large iced white chocolate pistachio made with whole milk? Okay. And what kind of muffins do you have? We have berry and lemon coffee. All right, I'm going to skip that. Thank you. Just the coffee. Thanks a lot. It's very specific. I haven't eaten like in a while, actually, since like 7:30 last night. So my stomach is just really hurting right now. So let's just start with the coffee, and then we're gonna go get an acai bowl. So we'll take the drive for that. All right. So good morning, everybody. So now we have a problem. We have a fence. Obviously, we're not calling the cops. We're not going through insurance for the kid or anything like that. But we got a fucking problem because we have dogs. So aside from the aesthetics, we have to fix this fence. So I've got to make some calls today. We're gonna have to take the corner post out and put a new one in, and then I think replace 2 panels. One panel looks fine, but I think I don't know. I gotta replace 2 panels. The problem is I don't think they sell that fence around here. It's old, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no idea. We'll see. It's 2 panels. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But anyway, that we're gonna have to deal with that. And Jeff basically told me to just wait until he gets home today. So we'll see. So anyway, we had this gaping hole in it. And listen, I don't want to say anything, but my husband does not think well in stressful emergency situations. And I look at things very differently. So now we got a pole in the corner and it's split in half. And it's very obvious to me what needs to be done. But Jeff wants to sit there and figure it out. And I'm like, okay, work through it. The whole time I'm sitting there and I'm going, just hurry up and work through your fucking theories so I can fucking come in here when you're exasperated and I can just tell you where we're at. Because just trying to tell him what we should do doesn't work. He wants to try to figure it out. So that's exactly what happens. Jeffrey is trying to figure it out. He's doing all of this stuff. And finally, he realizes those things aren't going to work. And I was like, okay, so we're going to take one of these panels. So the fence got slots in it that you can kind of see through. So I said, we're going to take one of those and we're going to, oh my God. So I said, we're going to take one of those, which are strong and intact, and we're going to bang that in the ground with the hammer, and we're going to bang it into the ground as close to the post that snapped in half as we can. And then we're going to put the post on top of the bottom, and then we're going to nail the posts into the new post that we hammered into the ground so it can get some stability. And then we will be able to cover the hole with the cardboard that Jeff brought upstairs from my Christmas TV that I got, 50-inch TV. Shout out to Jeffrey for not getting rid of the cardboard in the garage. We had a massive cardboard box that was just the right size if you turned it on its side to cover the hole. And so we fixed the post, as I said, and then we hammered in the cardboard, which was pretty thick, over the thing. And then on the inside, I went and just put 2 refuse bags that we had there in front of that area so the dogs can actually get to it. And then when we let the dogs out last night, we actually just went out there and stood in front of it. It's obviously not a permanent solution, but You're right. We might have to go and see if Pizza Allen can pop over on his lunch break and he can come and fix it. I mean, so basically what I want to say is like, this is not for me to handle. I'm not trying to be like a passenger princess in this whole thing, but like this is not for me to handle. I handled the immediate situation, which was chaotic and stressful and also needed to have some mothering happen. And I feel like I'm done. So I feel like Jeffrey has something that he obviously needs to handle today. And that's what he's going to have to do. It will not, I cannot handle this. I can't handle, I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby. So no, thanks. No, thank you. Everything's fine. It's good for now. I mean, my house looks like ghetto, with fucking 50-inch TV box on the corner. But I mean, we had a little accident. It happens. So that was last night. Love that. Love that for us. Somebody alert Kimberly. There's a war update, and I guess we're attacking Iran now. So, did I think this was going to happen? I did. I did, because of Trump and who he is as a person. And I've got some thoughts on this, but I can't talk about him because over the course of the past couple of months, I think I've been radicalized by my children, who have very specific thoughts about Israel, despite the fact that they are Jewish. Hi. Good morning. Thanks. No, thanks. Have a good one. Same to you. So I won't discuss it, but I guess it's so on brand for the United States. Just get into a fucking war on our 250th. You know what I mean? I'm all set right now. I'm all set with this. I'm disappointed in it. The end justifies the means. And listen, a Kamala Harris or Joe Biden administration would have really just been a disaster. There's so many things that are moving us in the right direction with Trump, so I'll take it. But I'd prefer not to be doing this. You know what I mean? I just prefer. But anyway, can we just not, Spicy Misty? Can we just not? That's very good. So anyway, I guess let Nurse Kim know there is a war update, and apparently now we're going to be doing some shit here. Great. Love that for us. Love a summertime war. Great. Just another thing that I can add to my layers of anxiety. So I'm driving by and I see the white trolley for the wedding. They messaged me yesterday and were like, hi, we were supposed to get an email from you about everything that we're supposed to be compensating your daughter for a wedding. And we haven't heard from you. And I said, my daughter is still on her honeymoon. I haven't seen her since the wedding. I guess they thought it was a week. Nope. Longer than, amongst other things. So this whole Carmelo Anthony situation is really peculiar to me because first of all, I currently am dealing with very sad stories of boys getting killed. And obviously this story isn't new, but it's regurgitating the circumstances surrounding his death, as well as we had this boy that was stabbed, and then the police responded and they listened to the person who stabbed him, and essentially they cuffed him and he died. And I'm having a hard time because I have a son who's 20, and I think of these circumstances and how flagrant they are, and how the people behind the deaths are just such savages, and the victimization, and just the finality of it, the death, but the story of Carmelo Anthony, has haunted me from the beginning. I'm a twin, and he has a twin brother. So, that obviously kind of like piqued my interest with this story. And I did a deep dive on it, like for myself, like reading and, looked at a bunch of things about it when it happened. And I didn't understand what kind of like controversy was going on currently around this. Like, was there any doubt that this guy was going to get convicted of murder? There was nothing prior to this trial that I had read about anything that happened that would have lent me to think otherwise. It was just like, you can't stab people and kill them, so you're gonna go to jail and that's it. Like, it was so cut and dry. I didn't even think that there would ever be any quote unquote controversy surrounding it. Like, and then to see, the true racists getting out there and acting as if anything less than a murder conviction would have been correct is crazy. What are you doing? I mean, you're being blinded by color to think that this case in particular was so clear that there was just no doubt that it would be. I don't understand any commentary otherwise. This kid was a fucking thug, and he stabbed a kid right in front of his brother and killed him because he's a fucking asshole. And he's a thug, and I don't give a fuck if he's got parents. I don't care. You can't go around murdering people. Good fucking luck. Rot. You know what? I posted justice when he got the conviction. The sentence hadn't been handled. I can't understand how this kid's going to get to see the light of day. It's so unfair. This kid will start his life right around this time. Bitch, I just started my life at 50. He's going to get a chance. I'm in my prime. You're going to get out of jail and you're going to start your life at this age? What the fuck? You should never. No, you should never. It's forever, ever. Forever, ever, forever, motherfucking forever. You can't be here anymore. Probably going to kill somebody when you get out. And he's got a bunch of fucking enablers out there. And then cue the African-American people in leadership roles or some sort of anything in this country, like Jasmine Crockett, who's like going, but what size knife was it? Like, was it a small knife? Yeah, I mean, it was like a small knife, like a foldable knife. Bitch. These people are so crazy. So you're going to like inflate this kid and his family. So now he's some sort of like George Floyd 2.0, like he's the victim. Like are you nuts? Stop it. We're so fucking tired of it. The problem is that regular people like you, not me, I'm not included in this. People like you don't say anything because consequences are like too vast. If you start talking about this in real life, you're a racist. And in the absence of you saying stuff, the people that are wrong, those voices become the loudest ones in the room. And so since 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement, these voices have become so loud that that's what people hear, and that's how culture changes. Meanwhile, you got a bunch of white people sitting around scared that their houses are going to get fucking like Molotov cocktails because they're posting on the internet that this black kid stabbed a white kid and killed him. Like, it's just facts. It's as clear as the sky is blue and the grass is green. It's just facts. So when we don't say anything, people like Jasmine Crockett get a platform and they get to say and like minimize the crime, minimize what's happened. It's fucking nuts. Glad to be out here, and I'll take the fucking L. Because I'll tell you what, I didn't think anything about race. I just thought this kid, whoever he fucking is, needs to go away for fucking life. And I can't believe his fucking twin brother had to witness his twin brother fucking die. I don't know if Amber's saying like self-defense, or there's no self-defense whatsoever. Zero. None. No chance. None. He was an instigator. I would have loved to have had you in my what class? Listen, back in high school in Pennsylvania, I don't know if I was a junior or a senior, but I was in can't remember what class I was in. It was like social something or whatever. Anyway, we had a teacher in there. His name was Mr. McDonald, and I didn't know anybody because we had just moved there. I knew the names of people, but I had no friends. Like TT and I had just moved to the school, and they were talking about the welfare system. There was a girl on the side of me. I'll never forget her. Her name was Megan McHugh, and she was one of the prettiest girls in school, and she was talking about helping people and all of these things. And I was like, my mom was on welfare when I was a kid because my dad wasn't around and she was a single parent, but eventually she got off the system. And like, I think transitional assistance should be used for exactly what it says when you are transitioning between a time of self-sufficiency and another time of self-sufficiency, that it's not a lifestyle choice. And we ended up getting into a debate, and Mr. McDonald obviously identified in me at the young age of 17 that I was a rare female Republican, and he encouraged the debate. And the debate went on in the classroom for so long that day that he was like, we've got to keep this going tomorrow. And there was a little bit of like notoriety happening where, who is this girl from Boston who's coming down here acting like some sort of like, and while I knew what Republican was at that age, like shout out Alex P. Keaton, I just, I knew already I had different ideas back then, even against everybody in my family. You know what I mean? Like I knew I was the only one that thought a certain way about things. I don't know. It's just the way that I was raised. Hold on one second. Hello? Hello? Yes. Good morning. Yes, ma'am. Thanks for the reminder. See you then. Bye-bye. 'Tis the season. Let me just send a voice memo to Jack as a reminder that his eye appointment is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Stand by, because I will forget. Hold on. Sorry. Just a reminder, your appointment for your contacts and glasses is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, I want to go around this person, but okay, there we go. So anyway, would get into debates about things. I've always had different opinion than most about stuff. It's very sad. I will tell you, watching the presser afterwards, and his twin brother standing so fiercely behind the DA who was, giving a statement. He didn't look sad. He looked angry. And I think he is, man, I hope sooner than later peace happens in his heart. I think it's impossible right now because there is absolute psychotic anger. But I don't know, his face behind there, I was watching that thing, that kid did not move. He was just fucking staring straight ahead. He had his arms down in front of him, crossed in front of him. You know, the prime of his life, you know, at 18 or however old they are, and just everything has just changed. I don't know how you go on, you know what I mean? And I just hope it's not with anger. That's my hope for him and the family. So, and I hope that kid rots in jail for the rest of his life. So anyway, the picture you're looking at on the screen is a unique one. So I have a godmother, shout out Dina. That was my mother's friend when she was younger. She's my godmother at birth. And I think I've told you guys, but she was a photographer back in the day. She always had her camera with her. And she documented a lot of things of our life. And every year for my birthday, she releases pictures of Jamie and I, or TT and I, and we get to see some pictures for the first time of me and TT. And I mean, TT and I were the only twins anybody knew. We were kind of like, I mean, you wonder why I have such an ego. We were kind of a big deal. You know, we were kind of a big deal, TT and I. We were cute twin girls, one blonde hair with brown eyes, one brown hair with blue eyes. And my mom dressed us cute. And we were just like a big deal everywhere we went. I mean, my life has been, I've been an attention whore for my whole life. Everywhere you went, you're like, oh my God, are they twins? Yes, bitch, we're twins. So like, anyway, my godmother had all these pictures. Yesterday, she starts a group text with me and TT. And she said, I was going through some pictures and I found these pictures of you and your dad. And I will tell you, to be 50 years old and to have never seen a photo of yourself with your father. This is the first photo I've ever seen of me and my dad together at that age. So I was 3 and I remember it because I was so excited to see my dad. My mother didn't live with him. And he showed up at our birthday party and he had a kitten in his coat called Lola. And he brought us a kitten for our birthday. And TT and I were so excited. But I have no photos of my dad and I when I was little. This is the first and only one I've ever seen. And I saw it for the first time when I was 50 years old. I was almost very upset that my godmother put TT and I in the same text message because I knew TT was going to react a certain way, which she did. And she was like very emo crying. And I don't know, I was different. I was a little different. I was mad. I was really, really mad at my mom when I saw that picture. You know, I was just mad about it. So I'm just a little kid, you know what I mean? And I really didn't deserve that. So I was very angry when I saw it. But that's all. What am I going to do? Nothing. So I was mad that that photo existed and my mother never gave it to me. My mother never showed me pictures of my dad. Nothing. Like just nothing. He was completely erased from my life. The fuck, you know what I mean? And replaced with a fucking psychopath. So and listen, Bazalian was no better. You know what I mean? This guy right here in this picture had only been back from war for how long? You know what I mean? Like, not very long. I mean, that guy in that picture, okay, had been shot in Vietnam and killed like fucking 40 guys. Like that guy holding me right there had like killed a bunch of people and had been shot and saved people in his platoon. Like that guy right there. I mean, can you imagine? There's just so much. My brain can't handle it. Not today. Not today. that picture, I just look at it, I got mad, but then I looked at my father and I was just like, that guy right there, like 2 twin kids, not in a relationship, wants to see the kids, my mother making it hard for him, and he's like fucking been shot, he's injured, he killed a bunch of fucking Vietnamese people. I mean, he saw his friends die. Man, what the fuck am I looking at? So I wasn't fucking crying. I was just like, this is just like the worst of humanity in this photo right here. You can see my mother's hand lighting the candle. She's actually in the picture. I cut her out because I actually don't want to see her in that photo. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely fucking not. No. You know, what the fuck? So anyway, that's my dad and me and TT. But that's neither here nor there. So, we are so back. We are just so back. Crazy, right? Crazy shit. I was born first. I am 6 minutes older than TT. I think that would be very obvious if you had to guess. So that's that. We are so back. So two things one more thing I just want to say, and then I want to break a story here on my show today. I was going to write it first, and I'm going to fill you in on exactly what I was going to do, and I'll talk you through it, and then I'm going to tell you what I uncovered, and we'll talk about it here, and then we will also write it, but you'll get it here first. So, but before I do that, I received a text message from Jennifer Altman yesterday, and I believe she would like me to share it with all of you. And because I believe that is what she wants, I will not be doing that. But what we will discuss is, I continue to examine the behavior of this individual who feels compelled to intimately text me. Saying words about me on the internet is one thing. Texting me is a very peculiar behavior. If indeed everything that she has said about me, whether on her own profiles or the burners that she, runs, is true, it is just peculiar to me that this person wants to speak to me directly. Saying things to me out into the open of the internet, right, would be like if we're in a big room and she yells across the room to me, but there's a lot of other people there that can hear it and all of those things. That would be like someone who has such disdain for me would walk across the room and stand right in front of me and approach me and talk to me. And that is just very peculiar behavior. I cannot dissect it right this minute. Because honestly, I had other stuff going on last night, but I really need to think about this. The first thing about it is every time she does it, I'm not thinking about her. So I'm just out here living my life, not thinking about her, and I get the stark reminder that she's thinking about me. And if I see it on the internet and I go looking for it, that's one thing. But it's almost just like, hey, bitch, I am still thinking about you. I know you're not looking on the internet, so I just want to remind you on your phone that's in your hand that I'm here. I'm thinking about you. I find you. Like, that's my initial vibe. Is like, it just jumps up on your phone. Like, like, I don't go looking for your shit on the internet for a reason. Like, it's not healthy for me. I don't want to see it. But now I'm holding my phone and I see her name pop up and I'm like, what the actual fuck? Now, I guess at this point I must block her, but I can't believe you're doing this. I cannot believe you are texting. your adversary. What are you doing? I'm going to block her. I mean, I don't think I need to. I don't listen. Blocking her means that I'm scared or whatever. I probably will. If she keeps doing it, I'm going to do it. But can you imagine texting me? Like, I don't, she does, it's like almost like she's on the internet and she's scratching, like, look at me. She's shooting off fireworks. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. I don't acknowledge it. I don't see it, or she gets deplatformed or whatever. And then it's just like she's so thirsty and desperate. It's like, no, wait, she's not reacting to me. She doesn't know what. I gotta go get her. I gotta go get her. I've got to go get her. I got to go tell her. She's got to hear it. And I'm like, what on earth are we doing? Why are you doing that? You can't do that. It's just so strange to me. And I think she wants me because she starts it off again the same way. You can use this for your content. And it's like, well, number one, bitch, clearly I don't have a producer. So I cannot let you produce my show by telling me what to do. Number two, based on what it was about, is it possible that she's using me as a surrogate platform? Because she wanted to talk about Jimmy. And I think she wants me to get out on my large platform, like her thoughts on Jimmy, and nobody's watching her. So she wants me to do it for her? Or am I wrong and I'm picking up big lesbian vibes here? And I'm going to need to hear from Cheech and anybody else in the lesbians we love category. Like, does she like me? What is she doing? I mean, I'm not sure what's going on. I just think it's absolutely insane to get text messages from Jen Altman. It is very, it's just, I don't know why. If I have any clarity at all, it's that she wants to make me upset. And that, I believe, is the default result here, or answer. She wants me to be upset. She knows that the words that she is cultivating, whether they're on the internet, she believes that they are making me upset, and sometimes they do. And then if I'm not on the internet, I'm not watching her, or maybe I don't even know if she has an account on the internet. I have no idea. Maybe she's on a burner account that hasn't picked up traction yet. I don't really know. So I think if I'm right, is that it? She posts things on the internet about me to hurt me and make me upset. And then if I don't see them and I don't react, then she has to go to me directly to hurt me and to get me upset. She's not sending me nice messages, right? They are all confrontational and mean, and hateful. She's sending me directly hate words. The only real thing, and I mean, literally this whole skit aside, it really just makes me feel like she wants to hurt me directly as often as she can. So she continues to contact me to hurt me. She is not contacting me to make me feel better or to get me to change my behaviors. The words that she's choosing are hateful. And I think she's trying to directly hurt me. So I guess that's it. I think the reason why she's not blocked is because I like to know people's behavior when they are doing things to me. So I just would like to be aware of it. It isn't hurting me, but the behavior is concerning. The behavior is definitely concerning. And I'm glad she isn't blocked, so that I can see that this is now a pattern of behavior where she feels the need to directly contact me and say hateful words to me. On the internet, I will choose to see them or not, and most often not. But when you text me directly, it's forcing me to see what you say. To monitor that behavior. I can block her. I personally would prefer to know what she's doing. Anyway, that's that. Want to get into an investigation? Okay. So I do not know exactly what had me thinking about this. Let me, in real time, go backwards and think, how did this even come up? Okay. So we were at our Republican Town Committee meeting the other night, and Justin Thurber is our state representative. He's obviously a Republican. He's on our RTC, but he had an event that he had to go to, I believe an award ceremony at Diamond Regional High School. So his wife is a Republican, obviously, as well. So she was at the meeting. Usually we get an update from our state rep about what's going on, but also now, because it's an election year for him, what's going on with the campaign. And so we were talking about his opponent, who is Jamison Souza. I will not go through all of the lore about Jamison Souza. If you have been here from day one, you know that Jamison Souza is somebody that I used to date back in the day, long time ago, and somebody that I used to actually get along with very well. And then when I started to kind of assert myself in the community, especially from a political perspective, we became not adversaries, but it's very obvious that Jamison is a Democrat leader in our community. I'm a Republican leader in our community. So I also have uncovered tremendous corruption surrounding Jamison Souza. I have written extensively about it. And we're going to actually go through that probably today online. But before we do that, I want to share just the latest thing. It's not hard to find when Jamison does things that skirt the regular average person's rules and things like that. He is used to nobody looking at him, paying attention to him. And he grew up in the town of Somerset where his parents were in leadership roles. His mother was on the school committee. I think his father was on the school committee. He just gets away with everything, basically. And I'm going to break it all down for everybody and memorialize it in a stream and go through everything that I have been able to put together about Jamison as he's getting ready to try to beat Justin Thurber for state rep. He is running for state representative. So I don't know what happened, but it started me thinking about something. So Jamison's parents bought a house on Riverside Avenue in Somerset. They lived in another house in Somerset. And then they bought a house on Riverside Avenue and they called it the Summer House. They called it the Summer House because it had no heat. It had electricity and running water, but it didn't have any gas or anything like that. And it was on the water and it was an old house. And they bought it, I believe, I don't know. I'm going to say 2010 for $350,000. And the place was pretty much a shack. And at some point, either just before or just after Jamison's mother died, they gave the house to him. And he began building a massive house where this house was. And Jamison and I were still friendly at the time. I was working at Bank of America and I was on my way home from work and he was outside and a friend of mine was actually building the kitchen on this property. And I drove by and I saw him and I beeped and he waved to me to pull over and I pulled over and he's like, "You want to come in and see the house?" And I was like, "Sure." Now, yes, 100% Jamison and I used to fuck back in the day. Okay. And my husband never really liked Jamison. There were guys that I have been with in my life before I met my husband. And my husband not only can get along with them, but has no issue with them, or has not only has no issue with them, but can get along with them. Baby daddies included. And I have some other people that I dated that my husband knows or whatever, and it's fine. Yes, this is the billboard box truck guy. So my husband just has always had a problem with Jameson. And I will get to that story maybe later about why, but I think I've told you about it, where he was trying to get me to not speak against an initiative that was going to be voted on by the town taxpayers. And in exchange for not stepping up to the microphone and advocating against bringing in a town planner, he offered to go out to dinner with him, just me and him. And I showed my husband that message, and my husband fucking wanted to kill him. Like, we're married, he's married, and he's basically saying, just you and me, I'll take you to dinner. It took everything I had to stop my husband from going to his house to beat the shit out of this guy. Jeff was so fucking mad about it because it was just so fucking ostentatious. So and Jameson is a short man, and Jeffrey is not. And so Jeffrey usually disparages his height whenever he can or whatever. So anyway, I went into the house, and got the tour. There was, construction. They weren't living there or anything like that. And he actually told me that it was, and I said something about how much money it was costing. I said, the house is fucking huge or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And in this conversation, he said to me that, like, he found ways to save money. And one of the things was, like, in order to get, I don't even know how to explain this because I don't want to get it wrong, but I have notes about this, and this isn't what I'm talking about, this particular thing, but it's what bred my thinking about it. I remember him telling me that to get a gas line out to the property, the way it was supposed to be done was going to cost like a certain dollar amount. And he ultimately didn't go through that process through the town the way that he was supposed to, but he just knew a guy that did it for him and nobody was looking or something like that. And like, he basically skirted permitting for it. I don't want to be quoted on that because I don't know exactly what happened, but I remember thinking, well, that's Jameson doing Jameson, always cutting corners and getting away with shit because he thinks he can, right? So, I always wanted to like look back at permits. Now it's an election year and you're running for state representative and you're challenging Justin Thurber, who you can do that. But it made me say, I would like to go back and take a look at the property cards for his property. So if you don't know, let me share with you. Every town or city has to have an assessor and they determine your property tax. This involves an assessor who goes out to your property and they take a picture of it every so often and they make an assessment on what your taxes are going to be for your property. It's based on the land itself, the value of the land, and then also the structures on the land. And if you have a structure on your land, there is a chance that you had to have a permit to get it. Now, some of these properties are so old or whatever that you don't know. But this particular circumstance, for the greater good here of this conversation and investigation, we went and pulled up the property card for this particular address. And when you pull up a property card, it's going to tell you who the current owner is and who the owner was before that. And so what I was basically looking for were permits. Other things on the property cards, it's going to say the name, it's going to say the parcel, it's going to show permits that were pulled for that property and the dates and the value of what was being done. So, for example, if you were, I don't know, like if you were going to take down a detached garage and build a new one, there's a value attached to that permit. It's going to say, like, this is the total cost of what this should be, right? And you can get a copy of the permit at the town, but on the property card, it just tells you the date, what the permit was, and that's it. Now, I was basically looking at the permit for the house when it was being built. And I'm not going to get into that quite yet because I have a couple calls out and I have to ask a couple of questions. It's out of my league as far as a couple of things, okay? But I just started buzzing around the property card. And I look at the property card, and Jameson has a massive in-ground pool. It's big, it's beautiful. I've seen photos of it. It wasn't there when I went by. I think they put it in 2019, and I probably went by in 2016, 17, maybe 18, but the pool wasn't there. But I have seen pictures of the pool plenty. It's beautiful, and Jameson's house is on the water. It's a beautiful, beautiful in-ground pool. So I see the permits, and first you go to the structures. And I see the structures on the property are the house. He has like another small little house. And then he has like, if you have a pool, your pool is listed. And it shows the pool that it was built in 2019. And it says it says something, and then it says $16,000 is the value of the pool. And so I looked at that, and I went, I wonder how much, like, is that right? 16,000? Like, it was really just nothing. I was just basically saying, is that what a really, really nice in-ground pool's value is worth, is 16,000? And I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't sound like that's the value of it, because I kind of know how much pools cost. So I know a guy who had an in-ground pool. We were just talking about it. And so I popped in his address in the property cards, and I look at his pool, which was built in like 1978. And the value of that pool was $27,000. So I said, well, there are two different kinds of pools. One was a concrete in-ground pool, and the one that Jameson has is a vinyl prefab pool. So I said, well, there's a lot of things that happened in pools over the years. Maybe, basically I was just like, this isn't a good enough comparison. I need to compare more. So my neighbor has a pool across the street. So I popped in her address, and her pool, which is a small little kidney-shaped in-ground pool, which was built years before Jameson's pool, was also significantly more valuable on the property card than Jameson's pool. That was the second pool I looked at. Both of those pools were larger than, were in-ground pools in my town, and they were valued on the property cards much higher than Jameson's pool. So now I say to myself, well, this is a problem for me. So I kid you not, I had my laptop open to property cards, and then I had my tablet open to Google Maps. And I went on Google Maps, where you can see like the satellite version, and I zoomed in on Jameson's property and I screenshotted it, right? And I see the pool. You can see how big it is or anything like that. And I just start moving down the river to houses. And when I saw on the satellite a house with an in-ground pool, I hovered over it. I found the address, and I popped it into the property cards and on the assessor's website. And then I took, hold on 1 second. And then I took that property card and screenshot it, but I also was writing it down. And I went through 25 pools. I went through 25 pools in Somerset, random pools. I think 7 of them are on the water, just like his is. Hold on one second. Why are we doing this? Because he's running for state representative. So, right. So it's to avoid increase in property taxes. So he pays less in property taxes because the value of his home and the structures on his home are less than what they actually are. So let's keep going. So I did 25. Now I could have gone on and on and on because there's obviously plenty of properties in town that have in-ground pools. I really was just taking too long, So what I did, so how does that work? So let me just back it up for a second. So what they do is they take your home and they calculate your taxes based on the value of your land and your building and anything that's on it. And then they take that total dollar amount of everything it's worth. And then whatever your tax rate is in town for residential property, they calculate that. And then you get a tax bill and that's what you pay. Okay. So now I have 25. I'm sharing this with you first. I'm sharing, you're the only people that's hearing this first, except for my husband. So I have 25 properties in Somerset that I went through painstakingly, found the property, took the number, plugged it into the website, found the assessor's card, and I went and found 25 in-ground pools in Somerset, and not one of them was under $20,000. Not one. Jameson's was listed at 16,000. Okay. So, and by the way, some of these other pools are very, very, very old. Some of them are also very, very new. I happen to know a couple of them that are new. So I was like, okay, we need to get I don't know what it's called when you're doing test samples or whatever. But so I was like, okay, let's just make sure we're getting new pools. We're getting big pool, whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I can't understand this, but I also can't figure it out, right? So now I've got a list of 25 houses. I've got addresses, pools, and none of them are even close to 16,000. Just to let you know, there, in my opinion, there are some that I think are comparable to his that are 40,000. Just so you know, like that seems a better number based on the kind of pool that I thought that was. I thought we were close to around a $40,000 assessment, but Jameson's is getting assessed at 16,000. So first and foremost, if you're one of the 25 homeowners in this town of Somerset, where Jameson has served as a selectman and now would like to be your state representative, if you would like to know more about this, please contact me. But you are paying higher taxes for your pool than he is, just at a bare minimum. It's worse than this, though. So with this sample of houses I have, I go through and I start making a list of which pools are concrete, which pools are vinyl prefab, because I think that matters. So now I'm down a hole about the kind of pool. And it tells you what kind of pool it is on the property card. So Jameson's house has the exact kind of pool it is. So now I start looking online, just basically asking the internet, is this kind of pool more expensive or of more value than these older concrete pools from the 70s or whatever? And there's nothing concrete. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's basically telling you, like, what it costs and what those cost back in the day. But some of these pools are from the 70s and 80s. So, like, there's nothing enough there. So then I say, okay, I'm going to go and type in exactly the kind of pool he has. And I'm going to ask the internet about how much does a pool like that cost. So I take the name of the pool and I type it in, and I instantly see that it is far more than $16,000, right? But it's varied because it's about size. So I go to the property card and his property card, and the only one I looked at for this at first, and it tells you square foot. You have to note on the permit, not the permit, but like on the assessor's card, it tells you the square footage of the pool, and it says 288. So I just go back to the internet and I type in the kind of pool it is. So it's a prefab vinyl in-ground pool, 288 square feet cost. And I actually take a peek and I go, well, this is saying like 25,000. And I'm going, okay, 16,000 is not 25,000, but like, what if, like, does it count if maybe somebody they knew did the work for them? Like, how does that work or whatever? So I kind of felt like this maybe isn't as big of a deal as I thought it was, but I did feel like it was big as a deal. And then I said, well, let me make sure that this is what the pool looks like. And I type in 288 square foot, this particular type of pool. And the search results bring me to a litany of examples. I click on one, the first one. It's a Facebook page for a company in Massachusetts. And they just so happen to have a video up of their latest pool install. And it is a 288 square foot size, which turns out to be, I believe, like I don't even know the size or whatever, pool. And it is not the same size as the pool that Jamison Souza has. It's significantly smaller. So they wrote that it was 288, but it's not 288 square feet. It is way bigger than that. And that was based on my memory alone, just my memory. So I immediately saved the video from this company. And now the pool looks similar, looked like the same kind of pool and everything. I found the price of that pool, which was about $30,000 for the 288 square foot pool. I saved that video. And then it didn't take me long to find a video online of his wife's Facebook, which was public, of his kids swimming in the pool. And the pool is like twice the size. So I would venture to say that the pool is assessed at $16,000 because they said it was a 288 square foot size pool. And I think it's double that, which means he should be assessed at double the price. And I sat back in my chair and I said, isn't this nice? Isn't this nice that this guy is a supposed leader in town? There was no permitted pool there. There was no pool on the property. Not to my knowledge, there was no pool on the property. And by the way, the assessor's card shows the pool as 2019. So my whole thought process is this is so on brand for Jamison. He just does what he wants or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's actually worse than that. Jamison is a real estate agent. He is part owner of Keller Williams, Watuppa, whatever it's called. He's in real estate. So I could see like Jeff Machado not understanding taxes or property cards or anything like that. But Jamison Souza 100% understands property taxes, permits, inspections, and home values. He understands how that works more than anybody. It is his trade. He does it for a living. So listen, is it a lot of money? His house is now valued at like $1.1 million. I don't really know if it matters that much in the grand scheme of things, but I think it does. I think it does. I think it matters if you're cutting corners, especially at the detriment to the municipality. If your property has a value and you're not paying it, then, and you're aware of it, it shows what kind of a leader you are. It shows you're looking out for yourself. Now, all I have is exactly what I told you. That's all I have. That's what I found. That's what I saw. So let me take you to the next part. Here I am last night at 2:45 in the morning. And I think to myself, okay, what I should do is I should send him an email. Good morning, Coach K Swizzle. I should send him an email from a random email. So I I get online, I open outlook.com, and I say I'm going to make an email, and this was my plan. I was going to send an email to Jameson from an anonymous email and say, I just want to give you a heads up, Jess Machado is digging into your pool. And see if, and then say nothing. And then see if something changes or something happens, because I would be able to just check it on the website. Like I like somebody saying, hey, I just want to tip you off, but I want to stay anonymous. I think she's digging around at something. It might be nothing, but she's looking at your pool assessment or whatever. And I would venture to say he would probably try to go behind the scenes and fix it or something like that. So I had this plan that I was going to do it. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my keyboard and I'm going, just because it's just how I operate, it just didn't feel authentic to me. I didn't want to have to explain that that's what I was doing. This is how I feel about burner accounts and things like that. It just doesn't feel right. And I feel like you could get caught. And so trying to manipulate this situation in a way and doing that, I wanted to do it. I just want to let you know, because I wanted to see if he would move. I wanted to see if he would do something or whatever. I just didn't do it. And then I said, well, if that's the case, I'm just going to talk about it tomorrow morning. And I'm going to tell him, and it's going to get back to him. It probably already has. Good morning, Jameson. He's probably listening right now. I have a question for you. Why is your pool assessed at $16,000? As nice as it is, as big as it is, as deep as it is, on the water, absolutely gorgeous. Why is it only assessed at $16,000? And why is it saying it's a 288 square foot? And when I looked at videos of that pool, that's 288, and your pool, they are not the same size. I think you scammed, so you could save just a little bit of money, because I think you're a scammer. And you can exist out here and you can scam, but you can't be an elected official and be a scammer, because we don't want that. So good morning to you, Jameson. I just have some questions, essentially. I have all of the gallons in each. I know, listen, I'm just going to tell you, he's got it wrong. This is not a $16,000 valued pool. It's just not. It isn't. It's an extraordinarily gorgeous, beautiful pool, and there is no way the assessed value of it is $16,000. That is based on nothing else. There isn't one other in-ground pool in Somerset that is below $20,000, let alone a really nice, beautiful one. Okay. So that on the surface alone, but if you want to start getting into the technicalities, or you want to start getting into the size or whatever, we will get there. Don't worry. I mean, I can't do it from my phone, but I mean, you want to stay on the phone for another 10 minutes, we'll call town hall in a few minutes and ask them a couple questions. You know what I mean? Did you notice that your pool is substantially under-assessed? You're an elected official. You are supposed to be the pillar of the community. Or you were. You're no longer an elected official. He's no longer a selectman. But he served on the school committee. He served as a selectman. And now he wants to take away the state rep from Justin Thurber. So this is just the latest, just one thing that I found by just simply like thinking about what he said to me this past time. And I was just like, wait a second, like, and then I look at it, I'm going, huh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So I have some questions, essentially. What does that say about the assessor? Well, we have some questions, right? We have some questions. We'll get there. I just wanted to let you know that that is something that I uncovered in the past, like 24, 48 hours. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about all of it. It's possible that I don't know enough about this and that there is a very reasonable explanation for this. I don't know. I can tell you as a regular person, the number of times I have uncovered something and went with it, it turned out to be accurate. But the number of times it has happened with Jamison Souza is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. So let me give you an example of some of that. So for all of you, there is a Substack out there called Somerset Elections 2023 on Substack. If you would like to peruse it, you can. But I have been cataloging what I believe to be corruption at the direction or hands of Jamison school districts. I mean, I'm reading the school district here of Jamison. He did. But let me read you this. The MCAS scandal made news headlines throughout the region while Souza was in charge. So I wrote this in 2023. There were multiple problems in the Somerset K-8 school district while Jamison Souza was on the school committee, but none were as publicly embarrassing as the Wilbur School MCAS scandal. In March of 2021, sitting chairman Jamison Souza was approached by parents of fifth graders at Wilbur Elementary about concerns over their child's surprising MCAS scores and subsequent placement in higher level math classes at Somerset Middle School the following year. Boston.com was one of the first to report on the drama. And I linked an article from Boston.com called Wilbur Scores Under Scrutiny. I continued on to say, per one parent who wishes to remain anonymous for this post, quote, "We brought our concerns to the school committee first, but they ignored us. They told us that there was no issue with the test scores, despite the massive jump in scores for our son. We had no choice but to take our concerns to the state." Media outlets reported that test scores had been altered by what appeared to be an adult after tests were handed in by students. One parent told us that state investigators visited their home one afternoon with their child's test in hand. Quote, we looked at the test our child had taken and we could not believe it. In the area for open response, you could see my son's answers were erased and adult handwriting wrote a different answer over it. Our child clearly did not write that way. Several months later, after pressure from parents and residents, the state ruled that the MCAS scores were invalid. Multiple regional news outlets shared the decision, and I linked CBS News. State tosses out more Somerset MCAS scores, and another link to a national news site that said Somerset scores deemed invalid. But while the state's investigation into the manipulation of student test scores was swift and resolute, the school committee's look into who was responsible was anything but that. Residents told us that Souza was, quote, not helpful and did not care about the students and families affected by the cheating. Quote, he did everything he could to sweep it under the rug, said one parent, who contemplated taking her child out of Somerset public schools after the MCAS scandal. I had zero trust in him or our school committee. After years of supposed looking into the test altering and promises of holding those accountable, the school committee investigation determined that they could not find who changed the test answers, and Souza stated the investigation was closed. And then I linked, and yes, this is Somerset, Massachusetts. Yes, while Jamison Souza was the chairman of the school committee in 2011. I linked an article that says MCAS investigation inconclusive. And then another article that said Somerset School Committee fails to find a culprit in the MCAS scandal. We'll click on those in a second. In one of the articles, Souza stated, quote, while we would have preferred that the investigation report identify the individual or individuals who were responsible for this conduct, I am convinced that Mrs. Murphy's investigation pursued every possible avenue of this matter. At this point in time, we are treating this investigation as completed, end quote. Souza had not held public office since he served on the school committee, giving many residents time to forget about this and more while he was in charge of our schools. Rest assured, we will be here to remind voters of his lack of leadership, mismanagement, and corruption so that our town will not have to experience it again. I wrote this prior to him running for selectman, which, by the way, he ran and he won. So let me click on this article for you so you can read it. So here's the first article, and it says, oh, that's interesting. That article is no longer there anymore. Huh. We get these taken down. May 26, 2011, CBS News. Somerset. State education officials have invalidated every MCAS test taken last year by students at a Somerset elementary school after finding evidence of cheating. The State Department of Elementary and Secondary Education threw out all 74 math exams taken at the Wilbur Elementary School in April for what it called a disturbing pattern of answers in which student responses were erased and replaced with correct answers that were illogical or inconsistent with prior work. But on Wednesday, the department also invalidated all English language, arts, and science and technology engineering test scores for test administration security violations. The Herald News reports the State Education Commissioner Mitchell Chester said in a letter that he is convinced that the tests were, quote, not a valid assessment of student learning. Superintendent Richard Medeiros declined comment. So that's the first one. Yes, this is at an elementary school. And what happened was when your child tests high, they get put in a high math class when they get to the middle school. And the parents, their kids were getting put in these advanced math classes and their kids were failing. And the parents were like, our kids shouldn't have even been in here. And they were like, well, they get put in this class because of their math scores. And the parents were like, well, they shouldn't have had those math scores. Wait a second. And guess who one of the parents was that uncovered this and whose child was a part of this? Kathy motherfucking Souza. Shout out to my bestie. Oh, turn to 10. Story isn't there anymore. Let's go to this one and see if it's there. Somerset School Committee fails to find a culprit in MCAS scandal at Wilbur Elementary. An internal investigation ordered by the Somerset School Committee, Jamison Souza, chairman, failed to reveal who altered MCAS tests in 2010 at the Wilbur Elementary School. So far, the investigation has cost the school department more than $32,000, with more bills to come, according to business manager Mark Furtado. Rather than releasing the report of the investigation conducted by attorney Catherine Murphy, School Committee Chairman Jamison Souza read a prepared statement with little information about the findings to a crowd of about 35 parents and teachers. Quote, while we would have preferred that the investigation report identify the individual or individuals who are responsible for this conduct, I'm convinced Ms. Murphy's investigation pursued every possible avenue of this matter. At this point in time, we are treating this investigation as completed. He called the test tampering scandal a long and difficult process for staff, students, and parents, and the Somerset community as a whole. Souza ended his statement with saying, "We look forward to returning the Wilbur School community to its rightful place in student learning." School board member Robert Camara, who has a child at Wilbur Elementary, acknowledged the difficulty the staff and students have faced during the past few years and asked the public to allow the school to move ahead. Move ahead without holding anybody accountable. This is a small elementary school in the town of Somerset. They 100% knew who did it. They swept it under the rug. They blamed the town for not moving past it. And then they didn't give a statement after the investigation other than to say, "We don't have an answer, but you better move on." He said he felt the investigation was thorough and that there was, quote, "no smoking gun." While parents had an opportunity to address the board, they were prohibited from exchanging dialogue or to ask questions by the school committee. The mother of one of the Wilbur students whose test was altered said that in the hundreds of documents released by DESE, it showed someone failed to immediately send out the tests and that they were held for 10 days. Are there any consequences for someone holding on to those tests for 10 days when they should have been sent out immediately? Asked the mother. Guess who that mother was? Kathy fucking Souza. She did not receive an answer from the school committee. The report will be available to the public, Souza said, if they submit a request for public records to the superintendent, Richard Medeiros. The Somerset School Board agreed to its own investigation in July, directed Murphy's law firm to start the inquiry. The law firm represents the Somerset School Department. DESE conducted the initial investigation in 2011. But Murphy didn't receive a binder full of documents from the Department of Education until January, after a public information request from the school board. So the attorney was supposed to conduct an investigation. They never got anything that they wanted until they actually put in a public records request for the information. So an attorney hired to investigate never got the information that they needed. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education began an investigation in January 2011 after receiving a complaint from a parent, aka Kathy Souza, after receiving a complaint of a parent from Wilbur Elementary fifth grader. After the DESE investigation concluded, it invalidated all the MCAS tests taken at Wilbur Elementary. So that was pretty much the end of that article. The investigation found a decidedly higher number of erasures than the state average on booklets, with a vast majority of answers changed from incorrect responses to correct ones, according to a letter from Mitchell Chester, the state commissioner of elementary and secondary education. The state found a disturbing pattern of answers to open response questions in which students' original responses were erased, replaced with correct answers that were not supported by the students' original computations and logic. In another letter to Superintendent Medeiros in May of 2012, Chester claimed adults at the school, quote, betrayed Wilbur Elementary School. And while the investigation interviewed 50 students, parents, educators, staff, students, it was also, quote, hindered by the difficulty in locating and then securing the cooperation of some witnesses. Joan DeAngelis, who was the principal at Wilbur Elementary School with the MCAS tests were tampered with, left the Somerset School District in September to take a similar position in West Warwick. Jamison Souza was the chairman of the school committee when this whole thing happened. That's just one. Would you like more? Sure. Let's go to this one. Souza's big budget blunder. 10 years ago, the largest department budget shortfall happened while Jamison Souza was in charge and students paid the price. This is written by me on a Substack, by the way. The last time current Board of Selectmen's candidate, so he was a candidate at the time when I wrote this, Jamison Souza held elective office in Somerset. He was a member of the Somerset Public Schools School Committee. Somerset Substack has already reported on the MCAS controversy where students had their test answers erased and altered, triggering a state investigation, as well as an investigation by the school committee. You can read the Somerset Substack about that here. A recent post on the Facebook page for Souza offered his own opinion on his financial leadership during this time serving on the Somerset Public Schools. So a couple of years ago when he was running for selectman, he posted this, that Here are some results I achieved through teamwork while I was serving on the K-8 school committee. I point out these because changes in cost-saving measures such as these can be implemented at a municipal level to benefit the town. And he talked about like some things that he did when he was on the school committee. I said there's been no statement or comments, however, on the almost $400,000 budget shortfall that the request for funds at special town meeting, nor the raises for administration that were paid during Jamison's time on the committee. To make up from the budget shortfall, Souza even suggested teachers should take a furlough day to offset between $8,000 and $10,000 deficit. Let's break it down. And you know a bitch loves to break it down. Let's start with this 2013 school department budget shortfall. In August of 2013, the K-8 school district mismanaged their 2013 budget by close to $400,000 and began looking at ways to fix the problem. The school committee, which Jamison Souza was a member, explored the option of asking the town for the funds at a special town meeting. In a discussion with members of the Board of Selectmen, it was stated that if the school committee wanted to ask taxpayers to cover the budget shortfall, the money would have to come from the town's stabilization account, otherwise known as our savings account. Current school committee member Victor Machado, who served on the committee back during this time, felt the voters would not approve of the spending of town savings. In an article for South Coast Today written by George Austin in August of 2023, it states, quote, school committee member Victor Machado said he has a feeling it is going to be very difficult to ask the community to approve the money to make up for this deficit. After what happened with the budget, he said he could not see why the community would not have, he could see why the community would not have trust in the school department. He said the school committee can look at reducing their fiscal 2014 budget to make up for the deficit. Despite the massive budget blunder under his watch, Souza and Machado approved raises for principals and administrators. In a Somerset Spectator news article published in 2013, just 1 month after the school committee members explored asking town voters to take from town savings accounts to cover the $400,000 budget deficit, Souza gave his reasoning on why he supported giving raises to administrators during the financial crisis. Quote, Somerset School Committee Vice Chairman Jamison Souza said there was already money in the budget for the pay raises. He said the committee voted on pay raises for 3 individuals based on the work they have done and MCAS scores. Mr. Souza said he thought the principals deserved their raises. He said the amount of money needed to cover the raises was extremely minor. And yet 1 month after the justification for raises for principals and administrators by Souza after asking teachers to take a furlough, even more outstanding invoices were found, increasing the total budget shortfall by thousands of dollars more. And then they found an additional $137,000 deficit that needed to be covered. In a last-ditch effort to place blame for the school committee's inability to stay within budget, Souza asked teachers and administrators to take responsibility by using their own money. As reported by George Austin, the discussion started after school committee vice chairman Jamison Souza said he wanted to ask the school administrators to help make up for the deficit by taking a furlough day. He said the school department could save between $8,000 and $10,000 by having administrators take a furlough. Souza said he wanted school superintendent Richard Medeiros to talk to other administrators about agreeing to the furlough day. Souza noted that cuts have been made to make up for around $299,000 budget deficit, and they have affected teachers and programs, but not the administration. He wanted to do the furlough day for the administrators rather than cutting money for crossing guards. You can read the whole article here. Coincidentally, the current school committee candidate, Jennifer Ashley's husband, David Ashley, was the president of the Teachers Association at the time, and he spoke against the furlough. The 2013 budget mismanagement was resolved at the special town meeting by indeed using funds from the stabilization fund and lowering the following year's department budget. But the critical mistakes made under Souza's leadership plagued the school for years to come. The following year, the district was still feeling the effects of fiscal mismanagement. In a Herald News article published in June of the next year, bills were not being paid yet again. Holtzman reported, school officials have assured the town they are equipped to handle this year's payrolls, even though Somerset Public Schools is facing an operations deficit by $500,000. Business manager Mark Furtado said that $469,000 deficit came from the school committee last week and was shared with the town finance director, Joseph Bolton, and it could climb slightly higher if pay grows for hiring substitute teachers in June. Otherwise, we're going to have to hold bills immediately, said Bolton. So this is another article while Jameson Souza was on the school committee, that the town, which everybody forgot about because people who had kids in the school district in 2011 don't have kids in the school district now. It's so far back, people don't remember. And nobody is going to go and find the old articles about these things in the old Herald News and these old newspapers that nobody reads anymore. And I do, because I'm a petty bitch. So there's plenty of other things that happened. Plenty. And I have a whole Substack about it. I'm not going to get into it all right here because it's morning. It's 9:09. Let's looks like there's an accident over here. Lots of cops' cars and ambulance, and yeah, it looks like there's a car accident. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can I ask you just a couple questions? So I listen, I was looking at a couple of things online on your property cards, and I uncovered something that maybe I would like somebody to explain to me because maybe I have it completely wrong. But I saw an individual, a neighbor who has a new pool that was built, and I was looking at the property card, and the assessed value of that pool is $16,000, and I thought that seemed low, and so I went and started pulling addresses of other properties in town that have in-ground pools, and nobody's pool is even close to that. Now, some of the in-ground pools are older, right? Built in the 70s or 80s, and they're concrete, and some of them are these prefab vinyl ones, right? But I plucked 25 pools, and I just stopped because I ran out of time. And this pool is not even close by tens of thousands of dollars. Like, it's assessed at 16,000, and it's a new pool, and no other pool. It is. Well, it, so that, so that's the thing here. So it's Jameson Souza's property, and the pool is showing 288 square feet, and it's not, because I went and, but how does that happen? Why would that number be wrong? Who puts the number into the system to assess it is my question. So the building department. Right. Yep. Yep. Right. So I think it's 2290 Riverside, I think. Am I right with that? Correct. It's impossible. It's not 288. Right. Right. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not accusing you. I'm asking about the process on how this happens, that a selectman who is a real estate agent has a pool listed at a severely undersessed value and I just cherry picked 25 homes and I mean, there's plenty more, but I could go through all of them there is no permit for the pool. There's no permit for the pool. I already looked. Correct. Yeah, so they didn't pull a permit to put the pool. There's no permit for the concrete around it. And the permit was never pulled, and it's been listed all these years at 288, which listen, I'm not an idiot. I looked at that, but I went even further. I went and looked up, what 288 square foot pools look like. And then I looked and compared the videos that I saw online, and that pool is not even close to being 288. 288 is like a little wading pool. I mean, he's literally for all these years had this under assessed while everybody else around him is paying 20, 30, $40,000. Paul Ferraro's pool is he's pulling 40,000 for his pool. It's not about fixing it though. I'm not saying it's you. What I'm saying is, how does that happen? And I'm going to tell you why I even looked at this, because he told me he skirted the permit system. So now I'm coming back to it. Yes, he did. It is quite a pool. That is not a $16,000 pool, correct? Well, so I don't know anything about pools. It could be vinyl, but I thought that close to the water, how could it be vinyl? It should be concrete, but maybe it's not. So, well, listen, this is about an elected official. This is about somebody who is looking to seek elected office, and somehow, some way, he has managed to have his property receive an in-ground pool without getting a permit. And when you go and look at what it's being assessed at, it's listed at 288, and you can't even cross-reference it to a permit because there is no permit. And he's a real estate agent, as you know. So if there's anybody that understands tax assessment, it's Jameson. So for 6 years, 7 years, he's had the luxury of not paying the full assessed value on this pool. It isn't right. So who permitted that? So we've got an elected official in our town that just gets to go and put a pool in of that magnitude, that size, that close to the water, never pulled a permit. You can't hear her because I'm not going to do any live recording of her. But when she pulled the pool up on the thing, she said, "Wow, that's a pool." And no, it is not 288. So there's that. There's nothing. I knew there wasn't. I knew there wasn't. That's why, you know, it was correct. And he was able to kind of skirt around that as well because he considered it to be what do you call it? Not an extension, but like a add-on as opposed to a addition, because it's not really an addition. I mean, it was like a nothing, you know what I mean? And whatever, I guess you can get around it that way by saying it's an addition. It's practically a new build on top of the old footprint. I don't know what would have, there's nothing about that house. I've been in it that resembles what it was prior to that. But I believe he skirted that because you have to, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, this is kind of something that I've known for a long time. And now that he's running for office, I feel like this stuff needs to kind of be transparent, and it's not fair for, neighbors and taxpayers to be paying the full amount on their pools. This just the pool. Don't even get me started on how we got a gas line there, because that's going to be for another day, because there wasn't a permit pulled for that either. But let's just start with the pool. So he's not paying the correct assessed value, right? From what we're gathering here. Okay. All right. So what would be the next step on rectifying this? Okay. Is it possible if there, yeah, go ahead. What did you think it is? I think it's, I said it was double what I saw online, and the 288 is usually, I think a 288 square foot would be like a 12 by 20 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it was, look, 2019. But right. Well, when you're Jameson Souza, you just pick a number. You know what I mean? Was the building inspector the same building inspector then? No, right? That's right. That's right. Yeah. So who was it at that time? Do you remember? Just before COVID. Yeah. Was it not the one that was with the town planner, was it? I think it is. What was his name? I know. No. Um, yeah, I know it. I think it begins with a P. I'm not sure. Yeah, Paul. Yes, I think it was Paul. Yeah. So Butcher? No, that's not right. Yes, I said B2. So Paul, who was part of this whole other bullshit stuff, I believe, I thought so, but I mean, I wasn't even getting that far down the hole. I just started looking at the polls and all of those things, and I was like, okay, it's Paul. It's definitely Paul Boucher. It's Paul Boucher. Yeah. So at this point, what would be the next step? Okay. Okay. Because there's no permit or assessment for the concrete around it, the patio. From going through assessor's cards last night, all of that needs to be assessed as well. So none of that was on there. I mean, I'm a novice. I just did this myself looking, but like it's very obvious that comparable homes, even in the area, a lot of the properties I looked at, I made sure to try to find in-ground pools that are on Riverside, right? On the water side, to just kind of like not go crazy. But I mean, listen, it's a gorgeous pool. I found video of it online. I'm looking at that and I'm going, all right, well, Paul Ferraro's pool, which is Riverside as well, right? I've been in that pool or, whatever. That's a little crazy, but I mean, he's paying 40K. You know what I mean? The assessed value, not paying 40K, but the assessed value on his pool is 40,000. So there's just no way that this is a $16,000 pool based on what I've seen. And obviously the 288 is something I noticed after the fact. And I was like, well, once I typed 288, I don't know what those pools look like. And when I went online and I saw it, that's not a 288 pool. Okay. So, now if there was a pool there before he put this pool in, would there have been a permit? You still need a permit to pull it in, correct? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but right, right. And so is it possible that the permit just never got uploaded to your office's property cards? Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. Is she going to get the folder? Can I wait a minute? Do you mind? Ugh, I'm sorry to bother you. Okay. Do you know, this is Jess Machado. I think I've met you, or maybe you know who I am, but I know, yeah, I do know who you are, and I 100% believe that you have absolutely no prior knowledge to any of what I'm telling you. This is the kind of just like that kind of skirting stuff, you know what I mean? And even a little bit, helps, everybody's hurting. I totally get it. But I consider our elected officials to be like kind of like the moral compasses of the community. And what's good for them is good for everybody else. And there's a lot of neighbors that are getting the assessed values that are high, and he's getting a break on it. And I'm not going to believe that it was just an error. I'm not going to believe somebody who's in the industry of properties and, real estate doesn't understand you need a permit to put in an in-ground pool like that, and that the value on that. 100%. Who doesn't read their own property card? Everybody does. I mean, I do it for fun. You know what I mean? Like one of the pictures of our house, my mom owns our house, but it's one of the old ones. You know what I mean? It's still on the property card, and it's before we bought it. So it's nice to see what it looked like a long time ago with an older picture on it. But yeah, I mean, you got it? Just so you know, they went upstairs and pulled the folder. So it's Paul Bouchard. He didn't put anything. He got a permit. 2019. Yep. But it doesn't, don't you have to put the details on it? You're supposed to put the size. Yes. Well, I mean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to put in public records request for all the permits for all of the other 25 houses that I looked at. And let's compare them and see what does a regular permit look like for an in-ground pool for a regular person in Somerset? You know what I mean? It's inconsistent. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I guess if you're putting in a pool and you go and ask for a permit and you say, I'm putting in a pool that's, let's just say 288 square feet, do they come back and inspect it to say that's indeed what you did build? Okay. Hmm. So I just meant about the permit when you pull a permit for something. I don't know the process because we've never done a permit since we've lived there at my house, but like, how does that work? You go apply for a permit, you say what you want. Does somebody come out and check before and at the end? Or does nobody ever come and check the process? You just get the permit and that's it. Yep. Right. Like what you asked for is what you did, right? Or it was done right. Right. Yeah. Like a deck or anything. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the permit that they pulled for, right. 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 That's what I mean. So like, how can we have a permit that you pulled for a pool, but it doesn't say what kind of pool or what size pool? Anything. It just says you're pulling a permit for a pool on a selectman's home. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's crazy. So, okay. I don't want to bother you anymore. I know you're busy. I appreciate that you even took the time for this. Okay. Okay. I'm going to pop up and visit Kelly in a little bit. Thanks for your help. I appreciate you. All right. Have a good day. Hello? Hello? Hi. Honey, you're not going to believe this, but remember what I told you about Jameson and the pool? I was right. I called the assessor's office and she was like, his pool is not properly listed and he's under assessed. Like, I can't believe it. I am. Nobody can hear you. Can I call you back? Do you need me right this second? I just saw you call twice, but I was on the phone with the assessor's office. So do you need me right this minute? You're going to ask me what? Okay. Do you want me to call you back when I'm done or do you need me now? What do you want to ask me? It's hard to hear you. Are you driving? Okay. I'm just a little riled up because I can't really even fucking believe that he's fucking been doing this all this time, Jeff. I can't believe it. He's such a fucking scumbag. You know what? I can believe it, but I can't believe I figured this out myself. I can't believe that I fucking got this motherfucker and he's running to fucking be our fucking state rep. I can't believe it. He's a fucking rat. You should have fucking heard, dude. I can't even believe when I called the assessor's office. I chose to tell everybody this morning. I'm on my live. I'm explaining it to everybody, and I'm waiting until 9 o'clock because I knew I was going to call the assessor's office, and I was just going to say, explain this to me like I'm stupid, like I fucked up, like I don't know what I'm talking about. And when they have a tool where they can look at the property on their like system, and she's like, well, let's go take a look at the pool. And she goes in and she goes, oh, that's not that size pool. That's not a 288. They can measure it from like the sky or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and she measures it. It's double what he has listed. His assessed value should be double that. He should be paying taxes on a double value. And then I ask about the permit, and the permit wasn't listed on the property card, but that didn't necessarily mean that it didn't exist. She sent her girl upstairs. They went up and fucking pulled the folder. They came down. The fucking permit doesn't have any details about the pool on it, where you're supposed to see what you're building and what they built. None of it's there. So it doesn't have the size of the pool. They just pulled a permit with no information. And it's the goddamn fucking building inspector that was fucking having an affair with the town planner that Jameson fucking wanted to hire. And then they did all that shit with Save Our Bay. And then they fucking hightailed it out of here and they scammed before we fucking were able to fire them. I cannot even believe I fucking figured this all out. I can't believe it. My adrenaline is like through the fucking roof right now. And he's a fucking real estate agent. Jameson Souza lives and breathes property cards. It's his life. It's his business. He knows exactly what the fuck his property is assessed at. I read property cards for fun. This motherfucker, I pulled 25 goddamn pools in this town. Nobody's pool is under $20,000. And this guy, a selectman, a school committee member, and now wants to be a fucking state rep. He has been skirting paying the full value of his property taxes since 2019. She told me she was changing the assessment right then and there. Right then and there. So I'm going to wait a little bit and then I'm going to pull up the property card again and see if it's been updated. I'm sure it will. She is straight and arrow. She's wonderful. And I have no doubt that she was not aware. Just her reaction as I was on the phone with her was very authentic. And she took action immediately. Like, she's not going to get caught up in any of this shit. And the building inspector, unfortunately, is fucking gone. Fuck these people. He should pay back all those years of that tax assessment. Whatever the difference is, I don't care if it's 500. He should pay every year the difference since 2019. And don't fucking tell me that motherfucker didn't do that deliberately. He fucking had the building inspector that he fucking helped get the job fucking go in and put the permit and there was no way to even correspond it. So what if this woman, let me just say this. What if this What if this assessor happened to be looking at the property card, right? And just on a hunch was like, oh, that doesn't sound like it should be right. And then she went and pulled the permit like she just did for me and looked at it, and the permit doesn't show what kind of pool or what size pool on it. So she doesn't even have a way to authenticate it in her office. She'd actually have to go do a site visit, which, by the way, they're going to go do. The issue here is that there is absolutely no way, shape, or form Jamison Souza did not know his pool was assessed at $16,000. This is his career. He understands property cards. He understands assessed values. That he teaches a real estate class to teach people about it. He fucking teaches a class. I'm so riled up, you have no idea. Okay. You want to call me after? We got to talk about the fence and everything? Okay, what were you going to ask me then? Or do you want to call me back? It's not a big issue. We can get it fixed. It's okay. It's secure right now. Okay, call me back. All right. Okay. All right, bye. Love you. Ah! I don't even want to bowl anymore. We've been sitting in the parking lot at Trop Smoothie Cafe this whole time. I'm not even hungry. I'm hungry for justice. Fuck it. We don't even want to. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck you, Jamison. I fucking got you. I got you. Just on this. And who am I? I'm just a little nosy bitch at home with a fucking score to settle. Guess who was just endorsed by Holly McNamara? Jamison Souza. They're all in bed with each other. They're all corrupt. And that's fine. You want to go out here and you want to be Tony Soprano, you want to be a thug, I don't fucking care. But you're not going to do it as a fucking state rep. You're not going to do it as an elected official. I'm just a baby. I can't believe I sat in that parking lot the whole time and I didn't get a bowl. Huh. I have a bra on. I have slides. Maybe we should just take a pit stop at Town Hall and go up to the building department. That was exhilarating. Huh. I can't believe I was right. I mean, between you and me, I had a hunch. I gotta call Kathy. Hold on. I got to call Kathy. Hold on. Bitch. Listen. Who called you? Oh my God, Kathy, that has nothing to do with why I'm calling you. You're going to die. Okay. I'm going to make your day. I'm on my live stream. You're not. I'm not. Like, nobody can hear you unless you want me to let them hear you. Do you want to be heard? Okay, perfect. Because I would rather be hands-free. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
What's going on?
Ready for this?
I'm always ready for anything you have to tell me.
I went down a deep dive about Jamison Souza's house and his permits because he told me he skirted the permit process when he got gas hooked up to that house, right? So I revisited that and I clicked on his property cards and everything looked kind of like above the surface, so to speak. But I clicked on his pool and it showed that the pool was assessed at $16,000. And obviously I've seen pictures of the pool, so have you. I thought that was a little low, but what did I know? So I looked up Jeff Cardell's pool, and Jeff Cardell's pool was valued twice as much, and it was like 20 years older.
What?
Listen, so then I started looking at my neighbors' pools. 2 of my neighbors have in-ground pools, and they were also, you're going to die. Also, those 2 pools were way higher than Jameson's brand new pool. So now I'm like, what the fuck? So I pulled out my tablet and I put on Google Maps and I did the satellite version. And I just started looking for in-ground pools along Riverside Avenue. And when I got the address, I popped it into the property cards on the assessor's website. And I looked up 25 houses, including Paulie Ferraro's, including Steve Saber's pool, all in-ground pools in Somerset, close to Jameson's. And nobody had an in-ground pool under I think it was $24,000. Everybody else's pools, Paul Ferraro's pool, I think, is assessed at $40K. Okay. So Jameson has a brand new pool that's gorgeous, and his is the lowest by $10,000. So I do all this recon work. I figure it all out, and I'm going this morning on my live, and I'm going, I think I'm right, but I'm not sure. I'm waiting for 9 o'clock to call the assessor's office. I call the fucking assessor's office, and she pulls it up, and she goes, oh, well, that's not right. Kathy,
What?
he lied about the size of his pool so he could pay less taxes on it. And then I said, well, we got to look for the permit, but the permit's not there. She pulls up the permit on the website. It's not on there. So her assistant is obviously hearing this whole conversation. She runs upstairs to Kelly Plummer's office and gets the file, comes down with the file, the permit. Guess who was the building inspector that pulled the permit?
Oh my God, tell me it was Boucher.
It was. And guess what's missing from the permit? The size, the kind of pool, everything is missing from it. All it is just it's just a regular fucking permit with no data, no information on it.
Hey, you know what should be pulled? What? All the permits issued by Boucher while he was there.
Well, I mean,
but that,
do you want to come work for me?
So you're running for office, a big office. You would think that you would clean your own crap up in your own house.
No.
And you have, I can only imagine what else is there.
So she said she was going into the system because she can, I guess, whatever system they have, they can like assess the size of that pool from like the sky. I don't know what they can do, but she was able to determine based on photos the size of the pool, and it's double what he has listed. So she said she was going to change it on the assessor card immediately. So I don't know if you're in front of a laptop.
Okay, so wait, now you have 2 problems, right?
Yes.
So you either have to give it out, let people file for an abatement for being overcharged, and if they're not being overcharged, then he needs to be charged for
6 years.
He hasn't paid.
Correct. 6 years.
You know.
Yep. He pulled that pool in 2019. So he's
mark my words. This is what he's going to say. Oh, I followed the rules. I just applied. I don't know.
No. Well, that would maybe be something he could say if he didn't teach real estate classes for a living, Kathy.
That's true.
It's his whole life. True. He sells houses. He teach real estate classes.
Unbelievable.
I know.
I drove by. There's a giant backhoe in front of his yard now. I go that way to go see my mom.
He has a backhoe in his yard right now?
He did yesterday when I drove by.
Kathy, I can't believe it. Well, I said that to you. Said
I can. Look at all the stuff. Look at all the stuff when he became selectman with the American Legion, and he wasn't going to be the bar manager. And it was going to be his stepsister, and brought his stepsister in, and blah blah blah, and that never changed.
The chat is asking about insurance fees. Is he paying the proper insurance for that? If it's listed differently.
I don't know how you do that. Don't mention your name. You have a friend in insurance, you can ask questions.
I'm sure that. Well, the chat is like obviously going crazy, but now I'm wondering. I just can't. My brain can't.
Well, I mean, did you look up the assessment of his house compared to other houses, same square footage on the water?
I have
I
not
have a house
done that
down here
yet.
you could compare it to
I have,
on the water.
I mean, I can work on that.
So I know the house down here where the assessment is, I think, around $18,000 a year.
Right.
And I can get you the square footage right on the water, next to the bridge, same exact whatever.
I mean, my thought process is that there's probably no way he would do something that obvious. And it kind of made sense that he would do something like this just to save himself a buck. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. When Boucher was the building inspector, what positions did he have in town? He was on the school committee.
Jameson.
He always bragged that he was on planning or zoning. Was he on one of those boards when that went through? Because that would be even worse.
I'd have to go back and look. I mean,
Yeah, because that would be way worse, right? If it didn't even go before anybody else. I'm not sure. Well, the pool does have to go before. Hey, did you go to conservation, right? Is the pool on the back end of the house next to the water?
it is. Somebody already asked that. I think Coach K Swizzle is saying that he was on planning board at the time.
There you go. So you go to see what year the pool was put on the tax record.
It was put on the 2019
So all those agendas are still up on their website. You can pull out
for conservation.
Yep, for the conservation. Yeah, definitely for conservation. I know I was going to meetings at that time because of the crap with Creighton Point.
Right.
I don't ever remember seeing him.
So we have to look at conservation to see if
Definitely conservation, and then you have to look at planning for the setbacks, right?
the problem is like, yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Looking for the neighbor.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my first
You know
thought
what?
was,
I would just say there's probably 50 things like that with him.
I know, but who's looking? Nobody's authentic. Nobody has the time to do this. Obviously, you and me, but nobody else. But
Yeah.
I was thinking about, the first thing I thought about is like anybody who has a pool who's paying the accurate amount. And here's this guy who has $1 million home, who's served as a selectman and a school committee member and a planning board member, and he's not paying the full amount like everybody else. Like everybody should be pissed. You know what I mean? Like how the fuck, how are you getting, I don't know what that translates to as far as tax dollars and what he pays, but even if it's $500,
It adds up when it's a favor there, and then maybe there's a favor on his house assessment, and a favor letting him keep that big giant advertising truck in his front yard. And everybody's looking the other way for everything.
not me.
I mean, look at our new selectman, what he's got going on. That's two pieces of property for $1.
That is insane.
Put his own road in next to a cemetery, no less.
How?
Yeah, well, I went down and looked at it. That's a nice little road he's got going there, right beside the neighbors. Cut down trees on town property.
How?
Why don't we cut trees down on town? Go, take a ride. If you're out in your car, go take a ride. I think it's Trolley Car Lane you have to go down. It's the back end of St. Patrick's Cemetery.
Okay.
Go look at the trees that he cut down on town property, no permission whatsoever, to get to his two $1 lots that are not even in his name. They're in his wife's name that he wants to combine. It still doesn't have enough frontage to put up honestly, that house he wants to put up there is huge.
Really?
Yep. And
maybe I can stop by there.
His property is like, oh yeah, take a Google image of his property. Oh my God. I can't even tell how many cars are sitting on his property right now.
Really?
Not my business, not my neighbor, but you know, people have to come before the board every time they have one unregistered car on their property that the neighbor doesn't like. And he's supposed to make that decision. But when you look at his property, it's not there.
Like how many cars? Like how many cars are on the property?
Oh my God. If I had to guess, like 8 or 9.
What?
When I was running, somebody told me, it's like, oh, you get drive by the property. And it's like,
can you text me the address so I know where I'm going?
Yeah, it's almost like on the line.
Okay.
It bothers me that here's a guy who's making decisions on unregistered cars on people's property.
Right.
I mean, even if you go by the old group, there's an unregistered car sitting, truck sitting behind that. It's like.
So he's a selectman and just, right. So, my question I was just going to ask you, because I'm going to go to town hall and stop by the planner's office.
Am I live right now?
You are. Do you want me to take you off?
No, I don't care. Hi, everybody.
Our planning, Kathy says hi. Well, it's so funny. I was talking about you this morning while I was waiting for the assessor's office to open. I was reading about the MCAS scandal. And I was like,
my God, now I still have that test. I still have that test with the adult handwriting on it.
Ooh, you should get it for me. I want to read it. We should bring it out.
I'll get that for you.
I told the story and I was reading some old news articles and it was like a parent. And I was like, for those of you who don't know, it was Kathy Souza's son that was part of this whole thing. And it was the
same group of people telling me, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm lying. I'm making it up.
Yep.
Oh my God. We have, I think that Denise Monroe still has her test too. I guarantee you we all take it. I know all the moms that went up.
Yeah.
6 of us had to go to the state. We got called in.
So crazy.
And remarkable. And I'll tell you how they got away with it. Because when they send out the test, one, they're supposed to send them out immediately. They test them for 2 weeks.
Right.
When they send those tests, it's not like all of yoga school tests go to Mary Jones, state test corrector, right?
Right.
Every test goes somewhere else. So you might have the one-off, right, test in New Hampshire, and then somebody else gets one. So it's not like
they were all together.
And 7 of them have adult handwriting on them.
Right.
And it's so blatant.
Right. Well, I mean, he was the school committee chairman at the time.
He was, and he had all his fans in the room.
Yep.
Saying that, I mean, our kids got bullied on the bus over it, saying that, the kids were lying. The kids had no proof.
Right. Right.
So.
I'm going to pop over. So my question to you is, are all of the things in the file for properties public record? So is like the file, so I could go, I mean, I'm not going to, I'll put in a public records request, right, for everything.
No, they can look at it. Most of it is online. I can walk you through how to do that, and the deed.
No, that I know. No, that I know. But like when I was talking to the assessor, her assistant went up and asked Kelly for the file. She came down with the actual paper file. Is that public record accessible to me?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do a request, or if they're not busy, I would imagine they would just get that for you. I've had that.
So they've just pulled it. I'm gonna pop in. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ask if I can take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, all of Bush's files were kind of went missing right after he left.
No doubt. No doubt.
They again, he knew he was going, and things went missing out of the basement and everything else.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks for getting me going this morning.
I mean, you know what I mean? And this is like, it's so crazy, but like Julia was getting married, right? And I'm obviously busy and I'm doing all this shit and YouTube shit or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I was down bad for a couple of days. By the way, to everybody who's listening, Kathy basically was like, where do you need me to be and what do you need me to do? I will handle shit. And I was like, just give me a couple. I was like,
when I said you on Saturday, I said my door is unlocked, the ones in the first come in.
The door's open. I was like, no, I just need a couple days. I'm down bad. But this kind of shit is the stuff that we do. And it never fails. Every fucking time we even start looking, it's there. Can you imagine if we did this with a team and we did it full time for everywhere? This is just Somerset. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know it is. I know we had a very good team run. I mean, between happening to be in the right place at the right time or having somebody call us with a tip and one of us being available to run right over, it's been very good.
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think we're constantly seeking out this stuff because we know it exists. I don't think it's right place at the right time. We're very privy.
The Secretary of State refuses to answer me as to whether she can be alone with the ballots and will not put it in.
We have to get on that. We talked about it at our RTC meeting about ballot integrity, not only just like everywhere, but we've got a big election coming up with Jameson and we have to pay attention.
Because here's what I'm going to say.
Oh, hold on. Jameson is currently home right now and his box truck is in the driveway. Are you getting your pool assessed, motherfucker? Anyway. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna
Okay.
talk.
Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you, Queen.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. All right. What on earth? Okay, couple things. I am almost at home. I have to pee per usual. I have to let the dogs out, but it requires supervision because of the fence. I saw Jeffrey called me 2 times while I was on the phone with Kathy. I am going to need to call him back and see what's going on. I need to figure out what we're going to do about the fence. I'm going to pop into the planning board, the permits, and I'm going to just ask if I need to pull a permit for fixing my fence, essentially. I got to go ask a question about that. So we're going to pop over and we're going to ask about my fence. And then, maybe we're going to just ask about a file. I don't know. Maybe we're just going to ask about a file about something. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Right? What does that say? I'm so happy you have Kathy riding shotgun. Kathy and I identified a skill set in each other right away. And it was very obvious. We think the same. We think about the same things. We figure stuff out the same. And unfortunately for everybody else, we have been victimized by political corruption in our community. And so I'm sure there are other people that have, but they're not angry bitches like Kathy and I with scores to settle. You know what I mean? So we're not going to let that shit go unchecked. Essentially, that's where we're at with that. All right, let's see where we're at. Hi, dogs. Hi. I know you probably want to go out, but it needs to be a field trip. I'm going to mute you. I'm going to leave you on the kitchen table. I'm going to pee, and then we'll talk for a few more minutes. Stand by. Okay. All right, let's go outside. Let's go see what's going on. Huh? Not going to be able to spend luxurious times out here over the next few days until we figure stuff out, okay? All right, go ahead. I'm going to watch you. Go ahead. Oh my God, I can't believe my fence. I can't believe it. You need to use concrete around the base of your post. I am aware. I know. I'm very, very stressed out about it. But I try not to say that because I don't want everybody else to get upset, really. I don't want Georgia to get upset. I don't want her boyfriend to get upset. I don't want his parents to get upset. I don't want Jeff to get upset. So I am just internalizing what I think is actually just a big pain in the ass. But it's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's like, let's want to go look at it together. Let's take a pause from our investigative journalism on corrupt politicians who are 100% going to go, well, there's a simple explanation for this. I've already been down this path with him. He does this every time. There's always a reasonable explanation for something. But so I love this for us. So this one's fine. This was not hit. This one is completely snapped in half. So this one was hit. Here's my idea. So we put this one in the ground, hammered that in, and then we nailed this to this and then kind of stabilized these three. So we really need this whole section to be fixed. This section does not need to be fixed. Everything is fine with this, including the bottom posts, all three of these. So it's just going to be to take this one out, put a new one in, and then this small little tiny section right here. And we attach this to kind of block it off, but that's what it looks like. Quincy is intrigued. So what happened was, I thought it was, he hit this, but remember he got into an accident when he went down Riverside. So we instructed him, or his trauma made him, he came down the street. He was parked here with Georgia. She got out of the car and went in, and then he backed up and he was going to turn around this corner and then turn up. And he backed up, and he has an old truck and the power steering, and it's a little weird. And he backed up and he could not see this was dark, and he just backed right into it. And then it pulled it when he pulled forward. So when I came out, his car was like this right here, his truck. And he was trying to back up enough and then turn around. And it just was so sad. I think I need a permit. Maybe I don't. I'm just going to go check. So that's what we're dealing with today. It's okay. It's fine. No worries. The biggest issue was making sure that it was secure for the dogs. And although I think it's hard to see, but I think all this right here kind of like lifted out. So we got to put that back. I don't know. I'm going to call a guy. The mailman is here. You want to say hi to the mailman? He's coming, Reagan. Let him know who's boss. Let him know whose yard this is. Whose yard is it? Yours? Perfect. All right. So I have to write this story up. Yes, at least it wasn't the 100. I agree. The hydrant. Yes, I agree. So I need to write this up in an article form, and put everything together with all my screenshots. The only thing is, like, I did all these shots of property cards, like all 25 of them. I don't think I need to do that. So two things I can do. I can take each screenshot of the property card, and then I would have to go through and block out the person's name for every single one of them. Or I can just take the property cards and start a database and just do the address, the pool size, and the assessed value to show. That's probably going to be the best way to do it. So I'm going to put that together. I have all the screenshots, but I can't post them as such, and I can't do it like that. There's one other part of this that I didn't really discuss because, again, I'm not 100% sure on. Kathy obviously started talking. Reagan just clearly does this every time the mailman comes, every single solitary time. Quincy just stands behind him and lets Reagan bark. And the mailman, the woman, she's just very kind. Like, she loves the dog. She doesn't want to pet him. This would all be solved if she pet him. She's under no obligation to do that. But he basically is just reminding a bitch, like, this is what happens when you don't pet me. We also have trash day. So there's trash trucks and recycling trucks all on the street at the same time. So it's a little chaotic. You should be able to export it from the site in Excel. Really? I think Google Sheet, zip code, pool size, assessed value. No need to share full addresses, though it is public record. So yes. So we could just say property 1, property 2, right. That's probably, you're right. That is the best way to do it. So you're right. Thank you. So that's the plan. The plan is so just so you know, for me, I'm not trying to do a gotcha moment where I write this story and it's a big, like, aha, we gotcha type thing. You know what I mean? Like, that is not what I'm trying to do. The real issue here is like about just correcting what is wrong and is done by corrupt politicians. Holy shit, my neighborhood is insane right now. It's not like about that. I could have done what I did, which is set him up. I mean, what I wanted to do, which was set him up. So I could have sent a message anonymously in an email. I could have said, hey, Jess Machado's doing this. He probably would have gone and done what he did the last time that something like this happened, and I'll explain that to you. But he would have gone to the assessor's office, he would have changed it, and then the story would have been after the fact. So on this day, and this day, I looked at this, and this, and then the day after somebody tipped him off, this happened. Again, I don't think that is, while that is savvy, I don't think that is the kind of reporter I am or the journalist I am. And so despite public opinion, despite what people say about me, I just thought that there was like, there's a little bit of an ethics issue with that. So I thought, then let's just write the story. But I don't know. I needed a little motivation for myself to keep pushing through with it. You know what I mean? So I thought sharing it on the show this morning, when I wrote my show agenda, I knew I was going to talk about it. And then I was like, well, let's see where it goes. And then I was like, well, let's call the assessor's office. And then, that all happened obviously in real time. And that's wonderful for all of us. I think it's great. Love that for me. Isn't that the name of the stream? Love that for me. Who knew? Okay, so that's it. Anything else I need to know? Obviously, I have some work to do this morning. I have some things going on. The old broken fence is a terrible eyesore and a danger of your vicious dogs escaping and attacking someone like a small child in the neighborhood. If I was your neighbors, I would report you to the town. Yes, please report me to the town as soon as you possibly can. Thank you. And my dogs are vicious, and you are 100% right. I feel that you're right. Thank you so much. Vicious dogs. Quincy would never. Reagan could never. I mean, if you got a bunch of sheep you want to walk by, that'll probably get so I don't care about that. All right, so I want to share one of the besties is going to be co-hosting a show with, let me pull it up for you. So a woman by the name of Karen Goldberg, she's a Maine-based creator, mom of 8, advocate, spiritual counselor, trauma-informed life coach, entrepreneur, and proudly neurodivergent voice navigating life in love and chaos. She has a channel. It's called Coffee with Karen. We talk real life, including true crime, court cases, breakdowns, current events, family life, parenting, relationships. With a background in public service, crisis intervention, and advocacy, I bring real-world insight to conversations around justice, domestic violence awareness, mental health, and life in the public eye. Some days are deep, some days are hilarious. All of it is real, no scripts, filters, just caffeine, truth, and a little chaos. Co-founder of Prostate Cancer Maine, founder of Decent Wear, a modern lifestyle brand. So you can find them on X at Karen Goldberg 8. Scott, who is one of the besties, and if you're in Bestieverse, you see him from there. If you were at the meet and greet, you've seen him there. Scott is doing a show with her tonight. I believe they are going, I don't know the answer to this question, at 7 p.m. If you would like to go give them a follow if you have nothing else going on. Normally we do Bunny After Dark at 7:30. I think what we're going to do, is at 9 p.m. we're going to play Bunny After Dark episode 2, the OG ones. It's only 1 hour. I viewed it yesterday. It's literally 1 hour and 1 minute. So it'll be from 9 to 10. It'll be on my regular channel as a Bunny After Dark episode, but it's just going to be what I did the other day, which is sharing the screen. I'm not ready to come back and do Bunny After Dark. I think it's a weird environment to do that. And like what I did on Monday, which was showing an old video, it's kind of like for you guys that are kind of missing that and it's part of your schedules. So let's keep that space and play this. And I mean, if you only saw like it's just absolute chaos right now. It's almost like the mail truck and the garbage truck have lined up yet again, just on different sides of the street now. It's crazy. All right, I've had enough. Let's head inside. Quincy, good boy. You want to go get a treat? Let's go get some cheese. Time to pay the cheese tax. Good boy. Little less time outside today, unfortunately. Good morning, Vincent. Good morning, Mia. I don't know. Mia was going through it, but she no longer kicks all of the bird seed on the floor. I don't know. We went through it for a couple of weeks, but we're back and everything is fine. Vincent, Mia, and that's Vincent, Mia, Sam Rothstein, Gingy, and Calvin Giraldi, aka Jose Canseco, are living their best lives. Unfortunately, the rock that we put inside Sam Rothstein's tank has done nothing to quell the output of green mossy shit that this fish somehow, unlike the rest of them, manages to push out. The rock had been in there for a week and the tank was extremely green yet again. I do not know what this fish's problem is. So he is requiring like a complete full tank clean every single solitary week. But by the end of the week, it's already like cloudy. So the only other option we have, I thought it was working, but by the end of the week, it was green again. And it's definitely outpacing the other tanks for sure. So I'm not sure. Oh, Quincy, hold on a minute. Hi, Sam. What are you doing? So if you've noticed, look at the rock. The rock is now getting a little moldy. Just everything will get moldy. Hi, Sam. Sam, want to show us how you're so beautiful. Wow. I see you. Hi. What are you doing? Hello. You're so funny. I think that's the next step is the snails. I think, look, he's coming over to say hello to you. He's showing you his fin. Look at, he wants you to see how beautiful he is, his colors. I think snails is going to be the way to go for him. We have the filter, but I don't think, look, he wants food. He's telling me. He's like, bitch, feed me. Gingy. Good morning, Gingy. Gingy, you're so beautiful. They just come right over. They're very social. Good morning, sweetheart. Come back over here. Come show me. So here's Gingy, and Sam Rothstein is over there across the way. But every week when I clean their tanks, I bring them all over here so they can socialize together. I have been feeling guilty about Jose Canseco being all the way over in the living room by himself. What's up, Jose? I mean, he's got the smallest tank and he's by himself the most. So I kind of feel badly. What's up, legend? Wow, you look so beautiful today. Oh, hi. All right, I have to feed everybody. I have to feed birds, dogs, fish, myself. Hi, Quincy. And then I have to, I'm going to make a call to the town planner's office, and I'm going to just ask if she can, is it easy for her? Does she want us, maybe we want some orange juice. Do we want orange juice or do we want a protein juice?
Eat here. Okay, let's do orange juice. We'll start with that because my throat has been sore. And then, do we have any waffles? This is going to require Quincy. Just you stand in my way. It is not going to work out for you. Tonight for dinner we are having lo mein. We don't have waffles. We're doing lo mein at Market Basket. They have lo mein noodles, and then I buy like just chicken stir fry, and I just cut it really small, and I do those lo mein, steamed broccoli, steamed pea pods. I also did buy a rotisserie chicken from them, and I'm going to cut up and make a chicken lo mein as well. And that one I'm just going to add. Okay, so the beef lo mein is going to be the lo mein noodles, the beef, and the broccoli. And then the chicken one is going to be the chicken, pea pods, and I think I'm going to do carrots. So I'm going to make 2 lo meins for dinner tonight. If anybody cares. I know you don't necessarily care. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of that. And I don't have a quick thing for you, like to give you guys. Like it would be complicated. We're gonna like take a chicken cutlet that's breaded and give you a piece of it. Fine. Chicken cutlet. Want some chicken? Here, Reagan. What a treat, Quincy. Here, Reagan, if you want it, you have to come get it. I'm not going to you. All right. You're welcome. All right, so currently right now, that's it. We're home. We're going to get in front of the computer. We're going to take a look at things. We're going to call the assessor, and we're going to write this up. We're going to write it up in an article. I'm also going to call my former boss at Fall River Reporter, and I'm going to ask him if he wants this story as well. I think it would be very admirable for him to take it. I'm not interested in the clicks or the views. I'm interested in informing the public about corruption. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Okay. Anything I need to know before I go? Let me grab my phone and take a look and see. So I talked to you about Scott's channel. They're going live at 7 today. So please consider that. Oceans and Moons, are they going live tonight? At what time? Please check out the Queens. I think, are we like, is that, I just don't know. You know what I mean? Like, are we, that it for the most part? Oh, thank you, Laura. Thank you. Okay. So Scott's going on at 7. Moons is going on with Oceans at 8. And then I'll do the Bunny After Dark from 9 to 10. If Moons, are you guys doing an hour? Are you doing 2 hours? I can push it. Like if you're going to do from 8 to 10, I'll do the live at 10 and I'll be in the chat. Like I'm just going to be corresponding with people while we play it. I'm not going to be on camera or doing a show. Want to do it that way? So I can move mine to 10 tonight. Oh, you do you, boo. TT called and wants to go to Sino. Every single solitary time. Every time. All right, well, let me just text me. He's private offline and we'll see. If you guys feel like you need 2 hours, I can always bookend what you're doing and just after you, I can go live. If you guys are going to do, I notice you're going longer, which is good for you and your algorithm and the things like that. No, it's fine. I mean, if I'm just playing an old video and it's 10 to 11, I mean, we usually finish Bunny After Dark at midnight anyway, so I think it's fine. All right, so let's just stick with that then. So if you guys, I'll go at 10. Town Hall has locked the doors. They are not letting you in yet. That's not true. You know that. What is somebody saying? I'm confused by Aiden's comments. What comments did I miss? This morning, yesterday, what are the comments? About what? Things that are going on in his case? Elaborate. I don't know who said that. Oh, I have my other phone. I can pull up the live and I can look at the comments that way. Thanks, Pancakes.
Oh, I have my.
Let's see, where was it? So I can look at me. How great is this? I can't see it. Why did I saw it and cello, how may I harp you? Oh, cello, how may I harp? Cello, how may I harp you? That's funny. Cello asked, I'm confused by Aiden's comments. What does that mean? I don't know. Let me know. I don't know what that means. Flexible, approachable whores. He was talking about the Baker situation again last night because somebody sent in a turtle chat about it. Okay. And what was it about? What did I miss? I did not watch. He seemed a little tipsy last night. That's possible. What were some of the comments? Is it anything like I need to know? I mean, I don't really need to know anything. Everybody can do their own thing. I don't. Who watched and who can elaborate? Just what Laura said, just mentioned that it's weird you saying the 2,000 bunnies are going after baby. No, I don't. So I have to go back. If somebody can find it, I'm sure one of you probably already has it. I don't know exactly how I said it like that. It wasn't like, it was basically like what was the context and how did I say? A lot of people were trashing me. That's all right. That's fine. I can't remember exactly the context that I said it. It was like, that wasn't the intent and it's not accurate. It was more or less like, I've got a lot of people that are clearly behind me, supporting me, and like have my back. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know exactly what, you know what I mean? I don't think it's worth like even talking about. It's just that the wants the situation to be, oh yeah, I mean, I was over it yesterday. I mean, if you couldn't tell, the words that I used yesterday were pretty much, I was over it when I chose to go live. So that is me getting over it. Is there residual things that needed to be discussed yesterday? 100%. Did I need to kind of bookend this whole thing? I 100% did. I have absolutely nothing extra to add to any of it today. I've already moved on. So like my show, what I'm doing, has already moved on. You know, I think I needed to kind of hit that myself organically, and by stepping away for a couple of days, reading and listening more than speaking and posting is very helpful. You know, the only thing I can say to anybody who goes through like, a complete character assassination or whatever, there's two things I've learned. One, things don't feel the same the day after. And that was ironically a skill set that I achieved back when Aiden wrote an article about me, like that, those initial moments, hours were so suffocating. And I look back on that and I remember exactly how I was feeling. I will never forget it. I know exactly, my thought process. I'm thinking like that. I didn't really want to be here anymore. Like there was no way to escape like the onslaught of like public embarrassment, and like, where is the place that I can go to like get away from all of this? And I came up with nothing. And I was thinking just, like, do I want to like just not cease to exist anymore? Like, would that find me some peace? Because it was just unbelievably difficult and hard in those hours. And then, like, I learned, obviously, going through that when tough fucking shit happens, time makes everything better. Time is one of the worst things in the world and one of the best. It is limited, but it also heals and make things better, and it changes your perspective on things. And I have an extremely toxic love affair with time, because I am grateful for it, because it has healed so many things in me. It has made me see things differently. And at the same time, just the sheer, like
the fact that it just won't stop and keeps moving in the wrong direction is so sad to me. You know what I mean? So time for me when it comes to these stuff is like the most important thing. And this stuff started last week. I fumbled some words and stuff like that, but I've already stated it and I'm not saying it again. I'm not apologizing for anything. I'm standing on business. I'm staying where I am. I don't believe in cancel culture. I've never believed in cancel culture. And if people want to cancel me, it's okay. But whatever. I mean, I choose to wake up every day and do it. So we will not move. We are not discussing it. There's no reason to. That doesn't mean I don't have a lot of things to say. Doesn't mean that I couldn't sit here for an hour and nitpick and dissect a bunch of things. I will not do it. I am not in that frame of mind. I am in a much different frame of mind today as I was yesterday. I'm better than I was the day before, and every day past it, I'm getting better and better. So we've moved on to, the shit that we just pulled today, which is like, oh yeah, I'm just on my computer until 2:45 in the morning, figuring some shit out. And then, calling out these people for it. So I need to write that in an article so that it can be digested by people who don't watch the 24 and 24 in the morning, so that every voter knows exactly what you all just heard, which is this is really crazy. And there's no excuse for it. It's been rectified and that's it. What? Like it's hard? This is not the first time I have uncovered that Jameson is doing shady shit, uncovered it, and then made change. And if you want, we can put on a clinic about it as well. But this happened with the American Legion, where he was listed as the bar manager and his father was the manager of the whole thing, right? Same exact thing, like father, like son. So the American Legion, do you want to hear this or not? Basically, you said, watch that shit and take all the screenshots and report back. I don't do that. They do it. I don't order them to do it. They just do it. Yeah, I don't care about that. Okay, so, well, can then we wait a minute and can I grab something to eat and a drink and then can we move up to the office and get in front of the laptop? Are you okay with waiting a little bit? Okay, stand by. Let me get my snacks. Hi, Quincy. All right, we've decided on hummus, some cheese, and an apple. So let me just make a plate. Give me a minute. This isn't a good knife. All right, this works out because we have cheese for Quintillium and for Reagan. One treat. That's for you. Good boy. That's for you. You're welcome. I just take like New York cheddar. I slice it like, we'll do 3, 4, 5. So 5 small slices of that. And then we're going to cut up an apple and a scoop of hummus. And then we're going to go up to the office. Quincy, you do not eat apples. You don't eat the apples. We're going to add some almonds to this plate too. I got a feeling we're going to be up in the office for a while is basically what we're doing here. Oops. You get that one. I just don't think you're going to like it. That's, okay, maybe you will. That's an apple. You're going to eat that? We don't have enough of hummus. This is not a big enough scoop. This backfired as soon as I opened it.
I knew we weren't going to get what we needed out of this. Okay. All right, let's go upstairs. Or we're going to go up to the office. You want to come hang out upstairs and the air conditioning? All right, plate, phone, orange juice. Oh, most important thing. Emotional support Tylenol. Listen, I'm in one of those lupus flares where everything needs to be, what's the word? Like everything is like inflamed. I feel like my blood vessels are all just inflamed. Let's go upstairs. Hi, Jack. How's it going? I'm going to be in the office if you need me. Okay. All right. We relocated. How's the chat? Are you all okay? I'm going to switch you all over to laptop in a second. Okay. Hi. So, somebody said I got to pull around the same time. I know my contractor said that contractors are normally the ones to pull the permits, not usually the homeowner. So that might be Jameson's out, but I am sure it's shadier than that. Anytime you're fighting or sick with a virus. Yeah. So I think I'm coming down with something and everything just feels very like, oh, shout out to my queen, Melissa in Swansea. Bullshit, 16,000 my ass. Mine with just the immediate surrounding cost me $80,000. He's a liar. I know. Okay. So let me pull up. Oh gosh, middle school graduation. It's probably for the best. If Jess only responds to haters and trolls, hold on, with kindness from now on, they still find a way to twist it, but I think it's the way to go. Thank you for your words. Good to, yeah, I think I responded to a couple of them. If it must be noted, I think to Jen Altman's text message, which was absolutely just wild, I responded, I'm very sorry all that happened to you. Thanks for sharing. That was it. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to take the bait? You want me to tell everybody about it? I'm not doing it. Build your own platform. Go through the highs and lows of what I've gone through and then come back and let me know. Let's see. I want to find, let's see. So I have an email where I put all of this together. So let's read it. Let me get on StreamYard and let me share a screen, which is like kind of what we want to do here, right? Eventually. at the end of June. God, my neighborhood is a war zone today. All right. All right. Let's enter the studio. So I don't want to just, oops, let's shut that down. Let me, okay. Stand by. All right, let's share this page with all of you. Okay, so this is an email that I wrote in 2022, okay? So you guys can hear me, correct? Perfect. To whom it may concern, I'm writing you in regards to the American Legion post located here in Somerset, Massachusetts. Several weeks ago, I was researching nonprofit organizations that operate here in town. Down a rabbit hole, so to speak, I was looking at public tax records for these groups and was unable to locate any tax reporting for the American Legion. Unsure about perhaps the name or filing name of this group, I researched their tax identification number and found what looked like a revocation of their nonprofit tax exemption status with the IRS. As stated on the IRS website, their status was revoked in 2011. Using the identification number, I again attempted to locate yearly tax filings, but I was unable to do so. I was well aware that the Legion was selling alcohol at their location, as well as off-site with the use of a one-day permit for several town events. So I began to wonder why income was not being reported yearly. At this time, I assumed they were using a name unknown to me and filing under that name. Several days later, I reached out to the National Office for the American Legion and asked for guidance on how local posts report income and donations. I was advised that each post needs their own tax EIN number and that they cannot file under a state or national number. They advised me to reach out to the State Legion for additional help. I went online to look up the Legion contact information and discovered that the commander for the Somerset post was the acting treasurer for the Massachusetts State Legion office. Because of this, I chose to remain anonymous when I called, inquiring as to the tax filing procedure for a post that was generating what I thought was significant revenue. The person I was speaking to immediately asked if I was referring to the Somerset location, and when I said yes, told me that there are only a few posts in the whole state that have so many members and make so much money. He also informed me of Sousa's position within the state. And when I say Sousa, I mean Jameson Sousa's father, Stephen Susan. So Stephen Sousa is Jameson Sousa's father, and he was the commander of the American Legion in Somerset, but he also happened to be the commander treasurer for the whole state of Massachusetts American Legions. He had an office in Boston at the State House. So keep that in mind. So again, this is a father of Jameson Sousa. He is in a leadership role for the whole state as the treasurer. So his job as the treasurer for the state American Legion is to advise and teach other American Legions how to run their bank's accounts and their tax filings, okay? This person I was speaking to immediately asked if I was referring to the Somerset location. When I said yes, he told me that there were only a few posts in the whole state that have so many members and make so much money. He also informed me of Suze's position within the state. He told me that the post does not use the state number to file their taxes and that maybe they had a different name. He said he would look into it and that I could call back the following week. In the meantime, I reached out to the Alcohol Beverage Commission and attempted to get a call back from someone who could give me what the tax number the Legion was using on their liquor licenses. I left 2 messages and I never got a call back. Now, keep in mind, at the time, our state representative was Pat Haddad, who is a very close friend to Jamison Souza and his dad. When I called back to the state office next week, the person I had spoken with was no longer helpful. He essentially told me he could not help me and I could simply go to the post and ask these questions myself. At this point, I felt the next step was to inquire within Town Hall to see if the Legion was using a number on their one-day permit applications that was different than the one that I had found online. I genuinely expected it for it to be a different number and that I would no longer really need to look into this issue. On Friday, October 8th, I visited Town Hall. I went to the town administrator's office. I spoke with a woman named Nancy and asked her if the one-day applications had a space for tax identification numbers. She turned to a woman by the name of Paula and asked her. I explained explicitly what I was looking for and why I was looking into it. She looked on her computer and printed a sheet. She informed me that she is not supposed to research tax-exempt numbers on applications and that applicants fill it out and sign it. She also stated that if it's someone who she knows, no, Quincy, no, absolutely not. No, I'm busy. I'm working. No cheese. She also stated that if it was someone she knows, she would never look up those numbers and she only would if it were someone applying for the first time. She then told me that the application does indeed ask for the number. At this time, I asked if she would please get the last application from the Legion submitted for the recent Spirit of Somerset event. She seemed reluctant, and I asked her if I put in a FOIA request right at that moment, and I would get it anyway. Paula then left the room and came back with the application. She showed me a packet of paper and turned to a paper with a date stamped on it for 2011 and the tax number that I recognized from being the one that was revoked. It looked like a copy of their nonprofit tax exemption status. I asked her if there was a sheet showing a manual entry of the number on the application, and she flipped to a page where there was a handwritten tax identification number in blue ink. I snapped a photo of the number, thanked Paula, and left. When I got to the parking lot, I called a friend and asked them to run the number to see what it was attached to. Within seconds, we determined that the handwritten number on the application for a permit belonged to the National American Legion in Illinois. This number comes up with an active tax-exempt status. At this time, I felt as if the Legion had submitted an application to get a liquor permit, lacking transparency and one that was not checked by the town. So I'm going to pause you there for a second. Essentially, what I'm saying is the American Legion applied for a permit to sell alcohol at a town event. On the application, you need to fill out your name, who's in charge, and your tax exempt status. Instead of using their tax ID number that had been revoked, they used the national tax ID number. So you can't really blame the town for not running it because the American Legion had been doing business in town for a long time. So fine, you push that aside. But what they were doing is they were putting the national number down. So in the event somebody did want to authenticate it, all they were going to do was type that number in and see that it was active and valid. It said American Legion. And I highly doubt anybody was ever going to pick up on the fact that the American Legion needed to have their own tax ID number. Nobody would know that unless you really kind of dug around and did the work like I did. But they knew they didn't have a tax ID number. They knew it was revoked. And I'll get to the reason why. And instead of getting that fixed or paying their taxes, they chose to just put a national number so that in the event somebody did do an audit or pulled it, they would recognize, hey, wait a second, they have a number here, but it wasn't theirs and it wasn't one that they were allowed to use. So let's move on. I just got 1,000 text messages, so let me say, okay. So As I said, at this time, I felt as if the Legion had submitted an application to the town lacking transparency and one that was not checked by the town. I also felt that the application was deliberately engineered to be deceptive by using the national number, which would have shown active tax exemption status. I felt the average person would not know that the national number could not be used for tax filing by the Somerset Post. I made a split-second decision to drive to the American Legion and ask for clarification. I informed my friend I was heading there simply for my own safety. I was led into the Legion by someone, and I told him that I had questions about their tax status. There were two men present, one of which told me that they were there to set up for karaoke later that night. The other gentleman asked me why I was there. I gave him my name and a brief conversation. He said that he would call Steve Souza himself and make an appointment with him for me. Once Souza was on the phone, he agreed to speak with me. During our conversation, I identified myself as a taxpayer who was just looking into this and came across information that made me ask further questions. I asked Souza if he had an active tax exempt status, and he said he did not know. I asked him if he was the commander of the post, and he said yes. I then asked him if he had filed taxes since he was the commander, and he said he did not know. I then asked him if he was the treasurer for the state Legion, and he said yes. I asked him how he could not know if his own post had filed taxes when he was acting as the state treasurer for the Legion. He then admitted to me that they have not filed taxes since he has been a commander. I asked why not, and he stated that they made less than the threshold for filing. I asked him what that threshold was, and he said he did not know. I told Souza that it was my understanding that without a nonprofit tax exemption status, I did not think that they could sell alcohol as they would have to pay taxes on it. I said that he couldn't sell alcohol for karaoke that night, and he told me that there was no karaoke. At this time, I told him that one of the men present told me that they were there to set up for it. The other man interrupted me and was adamant that I tell Souza that it was not him that told me about the karaoke. I got the impression they were not supposed to be having this event. Souza insisted that he had done nothing wrong, and I said I was leaving my number with the person at the Legion if he had any other information for me. I am unsure if there are any other explanations for what I have found or what was told to me, but I have sought the advice of close friends and family who suggested a letter to your office would be the right step. I believe this information is relevant to your office, the town, and the taxpayers of Somerset, as well as local organizations that have made donations to the Legion in the past. I'm available to speak with your office and provide documentation of aforementioned research and if necessary, but would very much like to remain as detached from this as possible. If what I have uncovered is true, I believe the implications of these facts will cause many individuals to become angry and distressed. I pray that I am wrong. I attached a copy of the American Legion that said they were on the list for having their EIN number revoked. So this was just my very first day of figuring out what was going on here. And ultimately, I learned that there was far more to this. So I understand that they have to just file their 990. They don't have to pay taxes. They just have to file their 990. Well, they weren't filing their 990 at all. So, and they were using a tax ID number that was not theirs and that they can't do. So I didn't hear back from anybody at the town hall. And so I ultimately posted that email on Facebook, and a bunch of things happened. The first thing is 2 veterans from that Legion called me and told me that they had proof that money had been taken by Steve Souza, and they had proof of it. And they didn't want to come forward, but they wanted to tell me. So I met with one of the people in a parking lot, and he told me about what happened at an event and cash and all of these things like that and other things that he did. And I don't want to give too much of it because people will know who he is. Hold on. Hello? Hi. I'm still doing a stream, but I can pause it for you. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Okay, so this ended up leading to a bunch of other things that happened. And very quickly, they fixed it. They got their tax ID number up. They downplayed it. They said it was not a big deal or whatever. The fact of the matter is that for the 10 years that Jameson Sousa's dad was the commander of the American Legion, they never filed their taxes, which if you're a small little organization and you're not really doing anything, okay, that's fine. But for years, the American Legion would pull permits and provide alcohol for all of the town events, including Spirit of Somerset, where they made tens of thousands of dollars. And what really came to a head was this happened when I investigated this. It was the year that Solar Therapeutics had a concert here in Somerset. I forgot who was here, but it was like a big concert in Somerset. I don't know who the rappers were here or anything like that, but they provided the alcohol for it. And they made bank. And one of the people that came to me told me that it was like basically a cash grab, and they were handing cash to people, including Steve Sousa's other son. And he was upset that he wasn't getting more. And all of this was happening right in front of this person. And they had video and pictures. And when I finally confronted them and said, listen, we're going to go public with this, the person backed off and was like, nope, I don't want to say anything. Somebody got to him or whatever. And so the best that we could get out of all of it was that after I filed this complaint, at a minimum, they got their EIN number up and running, which, by the way, the reason the EIN number was suspended was because they were not filing their taxes or their 990s. And they hadn't done that, so they got their number revoked. At a minimum, the only thing that happened is that now they're above board and that the EI number is there and that they've filed their 990s. As a matter of fact, let's take a look and let's just see where we're at with the 990s together, I guess, right? While we're here. I use ProPublica. They're my favorite website. So let's try, this is not it. So okay, so that's not going to work. So we're going to have to go to, let me think, so now we're over at the Secretary of the Commonwealth. Let's look up. We're on the wrong website. Oh, no, we're not. Hold on. AR post 228. Mm. 226. 227. 223. 2 225. Ugh.